Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good afternoon to you, wherever you may be, however you may be listening, however you may be viewing for those subscribing on YouTube. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Monday. And as most of the regular listeners know, after 2 days of not talking, we had a busy broadcast on this Monday. Apparently, and I've had to redo my rundown 3 times this morning, because initially when I woke up at 7 o'clock, there were not going to be peace talks in Islamabad, but by 1 o'clock this afternoon, apparently J.D. Vance is getting on a plane tomorrow for Islamabad, and Iranian officials will meet him there. We'll get into that in just a second. There is another target for expulsion. It is a black Democrat from Louisiana, Cheryl Trefillis McCormick, will be up for possible expulsion or censure. We'll unpack that. I'll tell you who she is and what she was found guilty of by a House Ethics Committee. It's a Monday, so Dr. Jeet Singh will be here. We're talking about pancreatic cancer. There is a new treatment for pancreatic cancer that may save lives. We'll get Dr. Jeet's opinion on that. It's a Monday. Kathy Abernathy will be here. We'll talk about what's going on in the Commonwealth of Virginia in terms of redistricting and another twist in the gubernatorial race. This just hours before Wednesday's crucial debate. I think this and the May 7th debate on CNN is incredibly crucial. And I think just the fact that CNN, an international global news agency, is covering a state race, even in the big state of California, tells you how, let me select my words carefully, how weird, how inexplicable, how strange, how just unprecedented this election is about to be, where there is a likelihood that Bailey, take 2, governor's race. There's a chance that there'll be 2 Republicans atop of the leaderboard at the end of the day. And the fact that Xavier Becerra is suddenly emerging, Swalwell getting out, Porter just meandering around, Antonio Villaraigosa saying that the whole thing is racist. It's just a crazy race. And we'll talk a little bit about that with Kathy Abernathy. Kash Patel. You just won't listen to me, will you? You just won't trust the self-appointed political guru. Yes, the sports mush, but clearly the political guru. I predicted Pam Bondi. I'm still predicting Pete Hudson. And as I've said, that's down the road. But Patel is next. He's now suing The Atlantic, Atlantic, not The Athletic. The Atlantic, an incredibly reputable news organization, for writing a story about him being essentially a drunk and missing work. We'll unpack that in just a second. And he also says, and this is clearly an attempt to wag the tail wag the dog, and you have to see the movie with Dustin Hoffman. Forget it. But a diversion attempt. He's claiming, get this, and some of you will love this, he claims he has the proof. He is the evidentiary proof that the 2020 election was stolen and that arrests are imminent. Y'all not laughing? That's funny. You don't think that's funny? That's hilarious. What law enforcement agent, whether it's Donnie Youngblood or Kash Patel, comes out and says there are arrests that are about to happen? Because you see, and certainly I know nothing, you can fill my ear with what I know about law enforcement, but I do know this much: if there are arrests imminent, you would already arrest them. If you got the evidence that the election was stolen, you would provide it. This is another Pam Bondi. It's on my desk. The arrest warrants are on my desk, just like the Epstein file was on Pam Bondi's desk. Well, the arrest warrants that are going to go out and people are going to go to jail are on Kash Patel's desk. Let's see who goes to jail. Anybody want to call in and bet me that people are going to go to jail? I'll pay you $50 for every person Kash Patel arrests in connection with the fraudulent 2020 election. Why am I willing to pay you $50 for every person who gets arrested for the 2020 fraud election? Because there was no fraud election. Whether you like it or not, Uncle Fluffy was duly elected. There was no fraud. It's been litigated and litigated and litigated and litigated and litigated. I only have until 6 o'clock, so I have to stop. But it's been litigated. And no one, Democratic judges, Republican judges, judges we brought from Mars, have all agreed there's been no fraud. So we will wait for the Pam Bondi-esque statement from Kash Patel to be true, that arrests are imminent. This is a guy who knows he's about to get fired. He is expressed such, according to the Atlantic story, to colleagues. In fact, there's a story within the story where Patel thought he had been fired. He told colleagues, I just got whacked. And they were like, no, you didn't. It's something about him getting locked out of his computer or something. I guess it'd be like me coming to work and my my security thing to get in the door doesn't work, and I assume I got fired. That's, I guess, what happened. They were like, no, you didn't get fired. But he's about to be. Think about this. What is Donald Trump's most obvious non-vice? Something that everybody does, but Donald Trump has never done.
Never done?
Never in his life.
Drink?
That's correct. His brother died of alcoholic-related diseases. And I don't know if that's why he doesn't drink, but he's never had a sip of alcohol in his life. And there are reports that that hockey incident, the Olympic incident, where he was chugging beers with hockey players, 22 years old, and acting a fool, that did not go over well with DJT, who, again, has never had an ounce of alcohol in his life. And I don't know if you've ever been with somebody who's sober for their whole life or somebody who's a recovering alcoholic and hasn't drank for a long time. They they look down on people that act stupid and act drunk and get drunk. So his days are numbered. You don't have to do it. I'll do it, Chris. Because my opinions don't express Chris's or the station, so I don't want Chris to be involved in my glee that the FBI director is on the way out the door. And we got some sad news we got to get into the 5 o'clock hour. I'm sure you've heard about this story out of Louisiana. We've got some more information on this former Army vet, Sean, I can't read this, Shana Elkins, I believe. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. He's a 31-year-old, was a father of 7 until he killed all of his children and his cousin. We've got some new information on that. I'm sure you're aware of the story generally, but late, right before I left the house, there's some new information on perhaps a motivation. We'll get into that. It's a horrible story. These children were 3, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11. There were 2 6-year-olds, 2 5-year-olds, 3, 7, 10, 11. And he shot his wife, of course, and shot his girlfriend. The ex-wife, or the estranged wife, and the girlfriend are in critical condition in a Shreveport hospital. And then we'll end up on a positive note. Ryan Ward. You know who Ryan Ward is, Chris Burdick? You're the sports guru. Who is Ryan Ward?
I know Hines Ward.
I don't think they're related. Ryan is about as white as you are. So I don't think. And I could say Hines is as black as I am, but that would not be accurate.
No,
he's half Japanese, is he not?
I don't know if it's Japanese.
I think it's Japanese.
Japanese?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. Ryan Ward is the real life Crash Davis. Who is the fictional Crash Davis? Chris Burdick. What?
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on Crash Davis.
Oh, you're going to be embarrassed. You're going to be embarrassed. You're going to kick yourself. Kevin Costner. I told you.
Bull
Durham.
Okay.
Bull Durham. Who had
yeah.
the ignominious, infamous, fictional minor league record for home runs, which, why is it infamous? Because if you have the home run record in the minor leagues, it means you've been in a long time.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a good thing. That's a dubious distinction. Well, Ryan Ward was there for 7 years. Can you imagine riding bus? The guy must have hemorrhoids. Riding them damn buses for 7 years, hitting brown baseballs, batting practice,
Having to pay for your own hotel.
having to pay for your own hotel, getting a $25 per diem
Ugh.
for 3 meals?
Ugh.
Are you kidding? And having to live in Oklahoma City? Sorry, I know we got a lot of Okies out there. But he finally made it. He finally made it. Freddie is having his 13th child. Now, what number is it? I got it wrong the last time. What number is it for Freddie? 6, 5, 4? I can't remember. It's either 4 or 5 or 6, one of those three. And I believe they're having a girl this time. And I think I got that wrong as well. I thought he had like a bunch of boys, or I don't know.
He's got 3.
3, so this will be the
Charlie,
4th,
Brandon, and Maximus.
and this will be the 4th. Well, she is on any second watch, so Freddie is on emergency leave, and so they called up Ryan Ward after 7 years. His family was in the stands, and what he do is first at bat, Chris Burdick.
Which is a home run.
Base hit to center field, knocks in a run. It's just really cool. Did you see this a couple of weeks ago with the 19-year-old kid from Pittsburgh for the Pirates? They called him up. He's 19.
Oh,
They
yeah,
made a big deal out of his
Shortstop.
family. Yeah, and his family was in the stands.
Yeah.
And first pitch, he hit a double, and it was kind of like that. But I think
$100
this,
million
yeah,
a year too.
and he's 19 years old. This kid, it's a whole different story. He was in the freaking minors for 7. I mean, I don't even know how you deal with that. Like after the 5th year, and you're going back for your 6th year, and you still haven't made it. How do you still say, "I'm gonna make it"? I'm gonna make it. Particularly when you're in the Dodger organization. Like if you're at the Angels or Pittsburgh, of course they're going to pull you up. They almost have to pull you up. But you're at the Dodgers? Good luck with that. And as we go to break, because I'm extremely late, I've been rambling. I was wrong about the ABS system.
What about?
I said it wouldn't last, and the umpires were going to sue, and
That ain't going nowhere.
it ain't going anywhere. And I think the umpires are getting acclimated with it, because they're not missing by much.
No.
Like, the reason I said it wouldn't last was because that fiasco with C.B. Buckner, where if the full ball is in the strike zone, you're a lousy umpire. But for most of them, it's an inch or two. And I think even umpires realize, hey, I'm a human being. If it's an inch off the plate, I might miss it. So I don't think they have as much a problem with it as I thought they would. But when the entire baseball is inside the computer, which happened to a female umpire beginning of the season, and I mean, it was framed like right in the center. It was the first pitch of the ball game too, and she totally,
Don't make them all.
You can't make them all. As my pop used to say, they can't all be home runs. Nope. Quick time out. We're just getting started. Running late. We'll come back and tell you what's going on in Iran. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Monday, 20th day of April. Oh, an Honor Flight took off. That's why I'm wearing this really old Honor Flight shirt. It looks like it's dirty, but it's just 8 years old. But in their honor, I'm wearing this today. They took off this morning about, I'm guessing, 9 a.m. And they are right now, if I know my Honor Flight, as I think I know my Honor Flight, they are busing their way from Baltimore to the Commonwealth of Virginia. And you can check it out. Mr. Trahi, the news director at 17, sent one of his reporters. Kevin Charette used to do it. He's now gone. So he sent one of his reporters. So check out KGET for all the updates and try to come out on Wednesday when they return, about 6:30 out at Meadows. Quick timeout, just getting started. TRBS on a Monday. News Talk 96.1 AM 1230, and we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. First Look with Scott Cox, morning 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Tuesday edition of the First Look program, we just found out we're going to have water flowing through the Kern River, and Lois Henry from SJV Water will join us, and she'll tell us how long we can expect that to be the case. We have the latest and state-of-the-art news and traffic and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
The Valprado family are back with us. Luigi's Restaurant and Old World Delicatessen. And what in the Sam Hill can I tell you about Luigi's that you don't know? The Warehouse has been an absolute game changer. I'd be willing to bet that 90% of my audience has been to some event in the Warehouse. It is just the perfect venue for parties or special events or whatever's going on. And again, what can I tell you about the restaurant? I don't know. I mean, my favorites personally, Thursdays. The salmon, that candy-coated salmon is just unbelievable. They've added so many different new dishes to the restaurant. It is absolutely incredible. And of course, it's an absolute fashion show on the weekends. Where would you rather be? It's the place to be on a Friday or a Saturday afternoon. And again, if you're having any kind of party, it's a great venue in the Warehouse. Where would you rather be? In the capable hands of Gino Valprado's incredible staff at Luigi's Restaurant and Old World Delicatessen.
If you don't care about saving 50% off your wireless bill for the same 5G coverage the big guys are charging a fortune for, maybe you care about keeping jobs in America. Pure Talk does. They've pledged to run their entire operation from this country, including all their customer service. Or maybe you care about
To be fair, all they heard was you.
Okay, good.
hundreds of thousands of dollars
I think.
for your partnership. A fantastic
I hope.
organization working hard to prevent veteran
don't care.
suicide. Or maybe you care about closing America's skills gap. Pure Talk does. They're a proud supporter of MicroWorks. They're helping my foundation train the next generation of skilled workers. Don't get me wrong. Saving money's great, and you'll save plenty with Pure Talk. But if you want to be in business with people who share your values, dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Are you looking for a hospital that truly cares for your health and well-being? At Good Samaritan Hospital, they provide high-quality medical detox, psychiatric services, and medical and surgical care. They accept most insurances, including Medi-Cal, Medicare, and Kern Family. They offer Kern County's longest-standing inpatient detox program with dual diagnosis that combines medical care and withdrawal management all under one roof. Learn more at GoodSamaritanHospital.com or call 661-215-7500. Good Samaritan Hospital. They care for their community.
Step into the spotlight at the all-new and always thrilling Hard Rock Casino Tejon, just 15 miles south of Bakersfield. Play your favorites across over 2,000 slot machines, plus baccarat, blackjack, roulette, and craps. And with Unity, whatever you do, you get rewarded. Play here and redeem at other Hard Rock properties. Enjoy live entertainment, exceptional dining, and energy only Hard Rock can deliver. Hard Rock Casino Tejon. It all happens here. Must be 21 or older. Concerned about your gambling? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning, 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox.
But then I got high.
Knows every song today outside of Kathy and obviously
Oh, that's
Dr. Dietz.
right. It's 420.
Yes, will be a weed song.
Okay. I thought we were using the word cannabis.
A cannabis enthusiast, I forgot, but
Yeah. We're using cannabis now.
it'll be a cannabis-based song.
And I apologize. I've been doing this 22 years and I'm getting way too comfortable being on the air. Because I can't believe that I've been caught chewing, coming from a break.
Yeah.
But I've never thrown an apple slice in my mouth actually during the show. So I apologize. I'm getting way too comfortable in this business. Real quick, because we don't have a lot of time before we get Dr. Jeet Singh in here. Apparently, the peace talks will resume. The second round will begin on Wednesday. J.D. Vance is expected to leave for Islamabad tomorrow, and they obviously have no idea who they're going to send. The New York Times quoted a couple of names that don't matter because I don't know them, you don't know them, but apparently they're going to sit down. This comes in the wake of what happened this weekend, which I thought would completely derail any type of talks. The United States seized an Iranian vessel, fired on it, which goes to show you just how incredible our military is. I mean, it's almost like Star Trek. You know how with Star Trek, they would like focus on a part of the ship that they were attacking that would just enable it without destroying it. We were able to do that with a vessel. I didn't think you could do that. I thought if you hit a vessel, it was going to sink, period, end of sentence. They were able to strike the engineering part of the ship and just leave it lifeless, essentially. And we seized it and are going through it as we speak, probably. But nevertheless, and given the fact that we've turned around 27 ships, boarded several, but the talks will go on, which I think is a good point. I think that if they're still willing to talk after something like that they're in pretty bad shape, that they do want peace at some point, whether it's a prolonged peace, whether it's a truthful peace. But I think there is going to be some sort of, I don't know what to call it, peace plan. I don't want to call it that because I don't think it is a peace plan. I think it is we're going to have to mow the lawn. That's my new cliche for this thing. We're going to have to go back, no matter what is signed, no matter what they say. Does anybody truly believe that they're going to stop their nuclear desires? Really? Because I don't. I just don't. I don't care what they sign. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they vow. Their vow is to destroy every Jew on the planet and every American alive. And bombarding them with bombs from the air or even boots on the ground isn't going to change their fundamental hatred for the Israelis and for us. But since we have absolutely militarily devastated them, and since they've cut off the Strait of Hormuz, which cuts their own throat at the tune of anywhere from $250 to $400 million a day, I don't think they have anything other to do than to sit down and talk and try to negotiate something so they can go back to business, if nothing else. Now, whether what the president has said is true, we'll find out. That they're going to turn over their uranium, that kind of nonsense. But the president, obviously, not short of his own rhetoric, where he wrote over the weekend, we're offering a very fair and reasonable deal, and I hope they take it, because if they don't take that, the U.S. is going to knock out every single power plant and every single bridge in Iran. No more Mr. Nice Guy. See, so now you understand why I've been screaming he's got to play this straight, because if you're going to say no more Mr. Nice Guy, then you've got to be the devil himself. You've got to follow up and destroy that country. But in doing so, you're committing international war crimes. And I think that this House would go after him in terms of impeachment. And I think there might be Republicans that would join in. I think that's a veiled threat. I don't think he'd go that far to destroy every bridge and every power plant, et cetera, et cetera. The Iranians retorted by saying toward U.S., we have historical mistrust in Iraq toward U.S. government conduct. It remains the same. Iran surrenders. Iranians do not submit to force. Well, apparently that's not that true, because they're coming back to the table. And let's just pray something can be worked out. I just don't see how this thing ends. I don't think we've ever been explained how this thing ends, what the really mission is all about, nuclear war, boop, boop, boop. But I just don't trust anything they say or anything they sign. But I don't think there's any question this is a good thing for the country. And hopefully a good thing for the Trump administration, because they're completely underwater. 68% of Americans disapprove of this thing in terms of the way it's being conducted. Quick time out. Dr. Jeet Singh joins us next.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
News. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Apple CEO Tim Cook is stepping down from the job that he inherited from the late Steve Jobs, ending a nearly 15-year reign that saw the company's market value soar by more than $3.6 trillion during an iPhone-fueled era of prosperity. The 65-year-old Cook will hand the CEO duties to Apple's head of hardware products, John Ternus, on September 1st, while remaining involved with the Cupertino, California company as executive chairman. A Louisiana father fatally shot his 7 children and another child, wounded his wife and another woman in the deadliest mass shooting in the U.S. in more than 2 years. The killings occurred Sunday morning at 2 homes in a Shreveport neighborhood, and authorities identified the gunman as 31-year-old Shamar Elkins. More details at SRNnews.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. Headlines from the KERN Newsroom.
I'm Chris Davis. Tips are needed by Delano Police if you know anything about the stabbing that happened Saturday evening about 5 at a fast trip on Garches Highway. Police say when they got to the scene, they found one person stabbed and another person showed up at the hospital. Neither wound was fatal. You may have heard about the police chase that happened in Ridgecrest Sunday and ended north of Rosamond that morning when a man who had stolen a police car crashed, according to Kern County deputies. KGET reports the suspect's name is Julian Harper and that he was able to steal the car by headbutting the officer who had pulled over to stop a fight in the back seat between Harper and another prisoner. Gas in California is now $5.79 on average, says Gas Buddy. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
Are gas prices the final straw to break the camel's back? Are you drowning in debt so that more gas means you can't pay for other essential stuff? Are you getting collection calls, emails, and texts on credit cards, medical debt, loans, buy now, pay later, and so forth? The attorneys at Clean Slate BK Group have a solution to make the nightmare go away. CSBK can stop the harassment, get rid of the balances, maybe even get your car payment reduced, and get you reset in the right financial direction for a fraction of the time and money of a debt settlement program. A Chapter 7 BK takes about 6 months, and at the end, the financial straws will be off your back. Log on to CSBK.com and read what real people just like you have to say about what CSBK has done for them. This is an attorney advertisement. Your results may vary, and prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome. Clean Slate BK Group PC, located at 7 Penn Plaza, Suite 601, New York, 10001, is responsible for the content of this ad. For more information, visit CSBK.com. That's CSBK.com to end your financial nightmares.
First Look with Scott Cox, morning 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Tuesday edition of the First Look program, we just found out we're going to have water flowing through the Kern River, and Lois Henry from SJV Water will join us, and she'll tell us how long we can expect that to be the case. We have the latest in state-of-the-art news and traffic and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Hey, it's JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, starting at 1 p.m. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you.
It's a Monday. Time to head over to Centric Health and talk with the finest cardiologist in the land, Dr. Jeet Singh. All right, Dr. J.
Great. How are you, Ralph?
I'm outstanding. Thank you, sir. Real quick, before we get into the topic of the day, I just want to get your opinion. Just a silly question, because it's 420, which I don't understand, Chris, and maybe you can explain to me later the significance of 420. But it's Cannabis Day. It's Weed Day. It's Marijuana Day. It's 420. It's the time and the date is all somehow tied in with cannabis. Medical thoughts. Is there any detrimental impact on one's health if they're smoking marijuana, particularly for a significant period of time?
Yes, interestingly, there was again an article, there are recurring articles coming in New York Times, that it has a significant impact on brain and mental health to start with, but it ends to heart attacks and strokes, unfortunately. Yeah.
Well, my time on this planet may be limited, but that's just the way it'll have to be, I suppose. I texted you and told you I want to talk about pancreatic cancer for a couple of reasons. I've had yet another friend succumb to pancreatic cancer. Is a friend of mine in Atlanta, and there was some news in terms of dealing with pancreatic cancer. I have no idea. Maybe you can explain. I'm sorry, I always put you in this position getting outside of your field, but you're so brilliant and you handle it so well. We continue to do it. but they're called mRNA-based vaccine. And apparently the medical field is very excited about this in terms of treatment for pancreatic cancer.
What was the question?
The mRNA-based vaccine, you know anything about it?
Yes, there was an article on this again in very important medical journal. They are trying to figure out a vaccine which is obviously based upon the messenger RNA. And what it basically does is that it goes and kills the site where the abnormal cells are synthesized, causing the cancer. So it does not enter the nucleus or does not alter the DNA, but actually it acts on the pathways where the production of this cancer is hampered. So there are little bit of concerns right now because of the way its precision of killing the particular RNA is, but there are some promising results and they are still waiting for ongoing trials to complete it.
Sure. And I'm doing this out of sequence because I should have started like this. First, explain what is the pancreas? What does it do in the body?
You know, pancreas is a very important organ, and just to make it simple for everyone, that's where the insulin is produced, one of the hormones which is very important, and that is responsible for causing diabetes if pancreas is affected. It's also a place where a lot of other hormones for our digestive system are produced. So it's a very, very vital, important organ. Yes.
Yeah, obviously. It seems to me, just because of my own life experience, my best friend, Mike's brother, died of pancreatic cancer, and that it's incredibly sudden. They gave Johnny 6 months. He was a medical miracle. He lasted another 2 years. But my friend in Atlanta was diagnosed 4 months ago. He's dead today. Am I right that it is a very fast-moving cancer? And why is it so incredibly lethal?
You know, the sad part with pancreatic cancer is when the point of diagnosis, when it's made, the maximum survival is 12 months, not more than that. Because it's such a occult presentation, it's painless, it's a very gradual weight loss. Some people think that they are doing it intentionally and they don't notice it. But the common factors which cause is age greater than 60, patients are diabetic, they have chronic pancreatitis, alcoholism, smoking, diabetic patients, they all are prone to this. And unfortunately, there is some genetic inheritance. If somebody in your family had it, there is a high likelihood that you will adopt, you will inherit that particular gene. Yeah.
Wow. Are there any symptoms? Apparently not.
Well, it's a very progressive weight loss. Some people can have painless jaundice. They do a blood test with their primary care doctor. If they do it, you will find that they're one of the liver function tests, which is known as bilirubin, that is elevated, and that's known as painless jaundice. Yeah.
Can it be spotted in a simple blood test or no? Does it have to be a specific blood test looking for pancreatic cancer?
You know, there is one test, but it's more for monitoring rather than screening. So it's known as CA, abbreviation like for cancer, CA19. And a lot of patients, they come to me, they say, you know what, doc, can you screen me for cancer through blood tests? I tell them it's very hard. Sometimes you can't. But if one has to order, then we usually order CA19 for pancreatic, and for other intestinal or colon cancers, one is known as CA125. Yeah.
Wow. That's frightening.
Yeah.
To think that you could have this cancer and not even know it.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate, and that's why it's lethal, because when you come to know, you know, Steve Jobs, the Apple CEO,
yeah,
he died of the same thing.
Very quickly.
Yeah, you remember? He did not want to go through the regular therapy. He tried Ayurvedic medication, some herbals, Chinese herbals. Unfortunately, they did not work. And such a smart genius,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, he was resistant to therapy, and he died within a year.
Yeah. My dad used to, I guess, I don't know if he was joking, trying to be sarcastic, or he's being real, but he used to say, when the rich die of a disease, there's no cure. Because if somebody with that kind of money can't get the medical help to stave off death, nobody can.
So he's one of the perfect examples. The smartest minds who was in a denial phase,
Yeah.
that he can get it away with,
Herbs.
regular therapy and herbs.
Yeah.
So he died, unfortunately.
Yeah. That is crazy. That really, really is. It's really sad. Is it, how prevalent is it?
Oh, it's quite prevalent. I mean, I don't know the exact numbers, but it's quite prevalent. I mean, that's why they are targeting this, because it's lethal,
Yeah.
it's prevalent, and it's a silent killer.
Beyond, you mentioned that obviously, and this is probably true about many diseases, genetics. You and I talk about that quite a bit. But is there any other groups that are more susceptible than others?
These are the common groups. Obviously, you cannot kill the genetics of a human being, but one of the modifiable factors is diabetes and smoking.
Yeah.
So those are two things that are very important. And then chronic pancreatitis, a lot of patients who have high triglycerides, which is one of the kind of cholesterol in your blood work, they are very prone to getting chronic insult to their pancreas. And that recurrent episodes of insult causes inflammation and triggers the biomarkers to become cancerous.
Just another reason for people to stop smoking. Stop it.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. Never understood smokers. I really haven't, ever. I spent a lifetime trying to get my mother to stop, and it took me 30 years, but I finally got her to stop about 15, 20 years ago.
Never late.
Yeah.
It's never late.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Always great to talk to you. I've got to talk about the boy. Congratulations on what your son is doing. Tell him where he's headed.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, he is fortunate, very fortunate enough, with God's grace, he got into Harvard. Yeah.
I think you and Jasleen had a little more to do with that than even the Lord himself.
Yeah,
I think I think the genes and the way you raised him is what's got him to Harvard. I really do. Congratulations. That's outstanding. As we've been talking, we got to get him on the show. When does he leave? In September?
End of September, end of August.
Yeah, we got to get him in here. Absolutely. Congratulations. Thanks so much.
Thank you, sir.
Always great to talk to you. Take care, sir.
Always a pleasure. Take care, Ralph.
All right, you too. Dr. J, Dr. Jeet Singh. That boy's going to graduate from Harvard in about 2.5 years, 3 years tops. He is literally a genius. I played golf with he and his dad, Dr. J, when he was in 8th, 9th grade. And I remember leaving that afternoon thinking, that kid's like an adult. Like we're having adult conversations with an 8th grader. I was like, God, I've never felt stupid in the presence of an 8th grader. Ugh. Quick timeout. Coming right back. Kathy Abernathy at the top of the hour. It's TRBS on Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1230, where we're streaming live at KernRadio.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. First Look with Scott Cox, morning 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Tuesday edition of the First Look program, we just found out we're going to have water flowing through the Kern River, and Lois Henry from SJV Water will join us, and she'll tell us how long we can expect that to be the case. We have the latest in state-of-the-art news and traffic and weather, It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1
Hey!
and AM 1230.
What's really going on, man? How you doing, brother?
96.1
Good to see
and
you, man.
AM 1230.
I didn't realize it was in
KERN.
the
So I had my first inquiry into Big Mike's Ragin' Barbecue, a new client, one of the best caterers in town. And
Absolutely.
yeah, he just happens to be one of my best friends, but he happens to be one of the best caterers in
You gotta
town.
be
And somebody
kidding
asked me,
me.
how deep does Mike go? And I said, well, he provides appetizers,
There's a
the
barbecue
main
there?
menu, and side dishes. And Mike does the
Glass,
cooking.
that's
He comes with a
that's
crew. He comes with a rig. They do all the cooking. They do all the cleaning. They do all the serving. You
A
do
truck
absolutely
bar.
nothing but pick up the phone and call Mike at 393-5507. That's 393-5507. Big Mike's Raging Barbecue has been raging now
He's a
for
program
throughout this
director, so-
entire century, for over 25 years. Mike, a former NFL star, has used that
How are we
discipline he
gonna split all
learned in
this
the
up?
NFL to engineer his organization. It doesn't matter
No,
what
I'm
your
out.
event is,
I'm out. I
whether
was
it's a
gonna
corporate
call-
event,
I'll give
graduation,
you what I got
Mike
priority
is
on.
there with the grill
The
and
gums.
ready
I
to
love the
cook.
gummies.
Call him again today at
I never got
393-5507.
Until y'all get-
393-5507.
Because I don't,
Big
'cause I don't
Mike's
like
Raging
can't
Barbecue.
regulate.
Yes, after 9 years,
But-
it's still
But
raging
I
hot.
won't do. I
Are
won't
you
do it on
craving a
weekdays, but
mouthwatering
on Saturday
sandwich
when I
that's
know I'm not
packed with
going
flavor?
anywhere,
Then look no further
I'll
than
come to-
Caesar's Deli, where they
and the
craft
first
some of the
time I
best
did it,
sandwiches in
I
town.
was
Sink
like-
your teeth into our signature classic, Caesar Special, featuring 2 kinds of salami, premium
And then
ham, and the irresistible
football-
taste of
baseball
Nona's
game,
secret
right?
meat sauce. It's
And
a
my
sandwich
window's
experience
faced
that
out
you
the
won't
street,
forget.
beautiful
But that's not the
Saturday
only
afternoon.
sandwich they offer. No,
And
no,
I
no.
catch myself.
Satisfy your craving with a
I'm like,
savory smoked turkey
Ralph, you
sandwich,
realize
or
you
indulge
can still
yourself
have
in
a
the
story
loaded
about 10
pastrami,
minutes.
or for the adventurous eater,
I look back
they
at the
offer
baseball game, so
pickled
I
tub.
missed like
And
3
here's the best
innings.
part. Caesar's
And I'm
Deli
like,
has incredible lunch specials
whoa.
designed to fill you up without
I was just-
emptying your wallet.
Yeah,
Plus, did you
you
know
don't
that
mess with
Caesar's
them?
Deli has a full-service deli offering a variety of over 60 meats and cheeses? It's a sandwich lover's paradise, and that's why Caesar's Deli has been a local favorite and proudly serving Bakersfield since 1971. Visit Caesar's Deli today and taste the difference for yourself. Located on the corner of Brim Hall and Callaway behind the beautiful water fountain.
If you don't care about saving 50% off your wireless bill for the same 5G coverage the big guys are charging a fortune for, maybe you care about keeping jobs in America. Pure Talk does. They've pledged to run their entire operation from this country.
Cool.
Hey, you
Oh,
hear
I
me?
saw flour in there too.
Hey, you hear me?
Back?
No, we're not back. We're not back. You got about 30 seconds.
No, we can come back. It's cool.
What?
I'll sit off camera.
We got an update on Diaz.
Hang on, I can't hear you. Say what?
You got an update on Diaz's elbow.
Supporter
He's out
of
for the season.
MicroWorks. They're helping my foundation
He's
train
out
the
for the
next
season?
generation of skilled workers. Don't get me wrong. Saving money's great, and you'll
Is
save
that why
plenty
he
with
was so
Pure
crappy
Talk.
yesterday?
But if
hurt
you
his
want to be in
elbow?
business with people who share your values,
Is he gone for the
dial
season?
pound 250,
How
say
long?
micro, and switch to an American wireless company
Yeah, you tell me.
that
on
actually
here.
stands for something.
Golly.
Pure Talk.
Clay Travis
wondering
and
what
Buck
was going on.
Sexton
They lit
live
him
at
up
9 a.m.
yesterday.
Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Our show has taken I was going to say uncharacteristic turn, but it is 420. So it's not for the show, maybe not for my personal life. But our man Dan, for those on YouTube can see, is live in studio from 99. Let me get this straight. 99 Highway 99 Collective. Yeah, step up, Dan.
There we go.
Thanks so much,
Happy
man.
420, Ralph.
Thank you, man. JR and I will. He's hiding in the studio. He's sitting here. He's hiding in the studio. He brought us an assortment of things, including look at this, a Donald Trump water pipe, better known as a bong.
I was about to say water pipe.
Yeah, that's what he said. I got a bong. I can't handle that. That's glass. I'll break that. I'll break that tonight if I take that home. These gummies are going with me. I'm a new gummy guy. Dan turned me on to the gummies. I don't do it on the weekdays because you can't really regulate it, and then it puts you to sleep. So I do it on Saturdays if I'm not playing golf. But their phone number is 661-978-9951. And you can reach them online at highway99collective.com. How long y'all been in business, Dan?
15 years.
Really?
We've been 15 years.
I did not know that.
Yeah, we've been around forever. We're one of the main here in town and take good care of people and make sure people are getting good quality stuff. And
Yeah.
that's where we're at.
Do you think the city is going to change its attitude toward the city and the county will change its attitude on
I'd really like to
medical
see
sales?
that. They're starting to take notice of the change federally.
Yeah.
Hopefully they bring it down to local.
Absolutely. Donald Trump, as we've talked about, changed the category of marijuana, as I've been screaming since I was a child, to be honest with you, that it is insane that marijuana is in the same drug category as heroin and LSD and cocaine. Are you really? Really? That is ridiculous. So that was a good thing that the Trump administration did.
Yeah, hopefully it trickles down to the local level and we can get it going here and make sure everybody has safe access.
Yeah, absolutely. Explain what is the connection? And I'll be honest, I've talked about this. I don't care. I'm 63 years old. I don't care anymore. I've been smoking weed since I was 16 years old. I still to this day don't know the correlation between 420 and marijuana.
There's a lot of stuff out there. They say it was time where people were supposed to meet up. That was the code at 420. We're going to meet. I've heard stuff that it came out in Vietnam when the guys were talking about 420 over there.
Yeah.
It's just all myth. I basically say it's a stoner holiday.
Okay, good. Because if you don't know, then nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
But whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
And we just want to come through today and take care of you and bring you a few products to get you through your day. And
okay, Jared, let's not advertise. Let's advertise Highway 99 Collective, but let's not show them what we will be. Let's don't split it up on air, okay? We got plenty of time to split it up. Well, man, I appreciate you stopping by.
No, man, anytime you
It's
need
always
us, give
good to
us a
see
call.
you. You know we will. You know we will. That's a sweet
Enjoy.
T-shirt, by the way.
Yeah. Hope
Love
you're
that.
going to make it back to work tomorrow, man.
Oh, they knock you out.
We'll see. Love you, Pop. Say hello to the board for me. All right, take care, man. Wow, that's pretty cool. Look at he's right. I might have to call in and call the program director, tell him I've got to take a day off. I'll do this one. Okay. Love the gummies. And I love the tray. Yeah. I don't use it because now, smoke when you do the you need a tray. Yeah, I'm a bong man, but and I know half of you are just like, this is despicable, Mr. Bailey. I'm sorry. It is what it is. It is what it is. 842-5376, 842-KEI. Oh, and I forgot that I'm wearing my, this is not actual leaf. It's just
It's a lay.
It's a lay, but it's
Total
obviously
lay.
totally, a connection to 420. I know at least a third of the audience is not happy with me now, but it is what a TI is. And we all have our personal foibles. We all have our, it is what it is. It is what it is. But hard to get back on track. They're really nice guys too, and really good business people. That's what I love about them. And just really just decent cats. So we love to try to give them some love every now and again. In the meantime, the House tomorrow is set to vote on the possible expulsion of Sheila Trephillis McCormick. This woman is a trip. She stole, essentially, according to the House Ethics Committee, there's an indictment that's looming, $5 million from, of all places, FEMA. Here's what she is alleged to have done, because I don't want to get this wrong. I want to read it straight from the New York Times. Do I have it? I did transfer here. Representative Sheila Trephillis McCormick is readying for a hearing that could be determined whether her alleged financial misconduct results in a congressional slap on the wrist or leads to another expulsion from the already downsizing House of Representatives. The case stems from accusations that the Florida Democrat, I think I said she was from Louisiana. The case stems from the accusations that the Florida Democrat embezzled millions of dollars in federal emergency funding, as well as allegations concerning illegal campaign financing and money laundering spanning years in office. In March, the House Ethics Committee completed its inquiry into whether McCormick was guilty of violating House rules and standards, determining there was clear and convincing evidence for 25 out of 27 counts in the statement of alleged violations. Lawmakers are now preparing for a Tuesday hearing to decide on punishment, which could range from a letter of admonition to recommending a vote on expelling Trephillis McCormick from her post as representative of Florida's 20th congressional district. I think they're going to boot her, because when you hear what this woman did, she converted the dough into a legal account for financing. So in other words, she took the FEMA money and made it look like it was finance money and financed part of her campaign, but also used it for luxurious trips on cruises, luxurious hotel rooms. She bought a Tesla. She bought jewelry that she showed off in many different pictures. And of course, she's a female. What else did she buy? Designer clothing. So I don't think you can give her an admonition. I don't think you can give her a fine. She's going to be indicted. She'll be lucky if she doesn't go to jail. So I don't think that the House has any choice but to expel her. And I think, given the midterms, you could see a handful, if not a majority, of Democrats joining them. Because if you're running in November and this woman not only gets indicted, but gets convicted of embezzlement, and we look back and see that you, Hakeem Jeffries or whoever, liberal, hell, give me a Democrat from our state. I don't know, anybody, any Democrat is on record of not voting for expulsion, and she ends up getting convicted. That's a beautiful ad campaign. Meantime, Adam Schiff voted not to expel Sheila McCormick, despite the fact that later she was convicted of embezzlement and is spending a 2-year jail term in a Florida prison. Just saying, it's kind of a big deal. It's kind of a big deal. And Corey Mills is also in the target sights of the House Ethics Committee. He's got some issues to deal with. This obviously coming in the wake of Swalwell and Tony Gonzalez. Oh, not that Tony Gonzalez. The representative from Texas, the former congressman from Texas, them resigning to avoid the Ethics Committee following up, and most likely a 95-5 chance they were both going to get expelled, and that's why they both resigned. So my guess, she resigns. She resigns and makes some superficial statement about fighting this battle and not wanting to spend a minute of her constituents' time battling this fight that is erroneous and these charges that are made up. And I'm going to go back to Florida and fight these, and maybe I'll come back to Congress. No, lady, you ain't never come back to Congress. You'll be lucky to stay out of jail, and you'll be lucky if you don't get expelled, as you should. And imagine, this is the scary part. I think all of us know deep in our hearts, this is the tip of the iceberg. This is just we haven't even scratched into the surface, into the deep crevices of the fraud and embezzlement and funky money business that goes on in the U.S. House of Representatives. I told you about Crockett, Jasmine Crockett, who on $175,000 a year salary has 3 homes. She's got a home in Georgetown, she's got a home in Houston, and she's got like a vacation home somewhere on $175,000. She's not married. It's not a 2-income home. We've talked about Nancy Pelosi. We've talked about even Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy is a multimillionaire. How do you become a multimillionaire? Separate from what he's earned in the last year and a half, 2 years, because I can't imagine what he's earned in the last year and a half, 2 years. Mega numbers. But beside that, he was a multimillionaire in Congress. How in the world does that happen? They involved themselves in insider trading. And I'm not accusing that of Kevin McCarthy. I'm just using him as an example of a congressman who was making $175,000. And when it's all said and done, he's a multimillionaire. You got to explain that to me. So this Sheila McCormick situation, tip of the iceberg. Just the tip. Quick time out. We head into the 4 o'clock hour. It is a Monday, so Kathy Abernathy joins us next. I would stick around if I you.
Kern Radio,
Hey.
AM 1230, KERN, 96.1 FM, K241CI, Bakersfield.
You don't think
an
Kevin
American
McCarthy's a
General Media
multimillionaire?
Station.
News this hour from
Really?
Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. FBI Director
That's
Kash
my
Patel
point.
is suing Atlantic
How was he a
Magazine.
It's a $250 million defamation lawsuit claiming an article
Yes, I
that talked
did.
about
When we
mismanagement
got into
at
the
the
fight.
agency
When
and
we
his
got into
alleged
the fight,
excessive
I don't know how
drinking
many
was
years ago it
false.
was.
The Atlantic
He
said
was
it
worth
stood by its
$1.8
reporting and would
million.
vigorously defend against the meritless lawsuit. In the article posted on the magazine's website Friday, author Sarah Fitzpatrick said Patel is deeply concerned about losing
Kevin
his
and I,
job
Kevin
and
hates
that
me?
he
You
has
didn't
good
know that?
reasons to think so, including some having to do with what witnesses described as bouts of excessive drinking and unexplained absences. Bill Alexander, Washington.
8 children between the ages of 1 and about 14 are dead after a mass shooting in Louisiana. Correspondent Julie Walker has the details.
A domestic dispute in Louisiana leaves at least 8 children dead, according to police, who say a relative is behind the deadly shooting of 10 juveniles, the youngest a 1-year-old. Shreveport Police Department spokesperson Chris Bordelon.
We do know that some of the children inside were his descendants.
Police Chief Wayne Smith.
My heart is just taken back. I just cannot begin to imagine how such an event can occur.
Police say the shootings took place early Sunday at 2 homes before the gunman carjacked a vehicle and was shot by police. I'm Julie Walker.
Labor Secretary Lori Chavez de Remer is out of President Donald Trump's cabinet after multiple allegations of abusing her position, including an affair with a subordinate and drinking on the job. She's the 3rd Trump cabinet member to leave recently. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 4 points, the Nasdaq dropped 84, the S&P 500 declined 18, oil around $89 a barrel. More at townhall.com.
The following is a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
I had a lot of credit card debt and it stressed me out. But what I thought was a solution turned out to be a problem. I kept hearing ads about debt settlement that seemed too good to be true. And actually, it was. When I called, they told me to stop paying my bills. That didn't sound right to me at all, so I hung up. Later, I found out that debt settlement is bad, real bad. Then I learned that there is a right way to pay off your credit cards. It's called a debt management program from the great team at Trinity. Trinity had a plan. In the end, I paid off my bills, I saved thousands, and I even improved my credit score.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Heather. Please forget debt settlement and remember Trinity Debt Management.
1-800-990-6976.
Mortgage.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update.
All hell breaks loose,
Well, 'cause
and the
not
head butt
everybody's
is
in there,
part of the
and
action.
it's just-
I'm Chris Davis.
It's so
That was how a
stupid.
man, now ID'd as 41-year-old Julian Harper, was able to steal a police car in Ridgecrest Sunday morning. Ridgecrest PD tells KGET that the man was being arrested on drug charges and on charges that he violated a restraining order and was in the back seat with another prisoner and attacked that prisoner. When the arresting officer pulled over and tried to stop it, Harper used his own noggin to attack the officer and steal the car, which was eventually stopped north of Rosamond when Harper crashed the car. You can find gas again for under $5 a gallon, but it's only at one place in the Bakersfield area, and that's at a station on Edison Highway. The average price in California and across the country has come down a few cents and is now $5.79 for the state average and $3.97 for the national average for a gallon of regular, reports Gas Buddy. 2 people were stabbed Saturday evening at a convenience store in Delano, say police there, and they have not announced any arrests. In fact, they are asking for tips. The stabbing was reported about 5 p.m. at the Fast Strip on Garches Highway. Police say they found one person stabbed when they got there, and another victim showed up at the hospital a little while later. Neither of the people had fatal wounds. But a power pole was fatally wounded this morning about 2:45 by a car, says PG&E. And when the pole was snapped, the inevitable happened. People lost power. It was about 2,800 customers, says the power company. That was in the area of Brundage Lane and Mount Vernon Avenue. It was unclear if anyone was hurt in the car that hit the pole. It took several hours to get the power back on for the neighborhood. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
To the rest well, in a month from now, this Hollywood Big Shot's going to give you what you want. too late. They start shooting in a week. I'm going to make them an offer again.
The Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hour 2 of the broadcast on this Monday, 20th day of April, 4/20. For you fellow cannabis users. It's the Ralph Bailey Show. We still got lots to do. Coming up about an hour, we'll talk about Kash Patel suing The Atlantic and proclaiming on Maria Bartiromo's show on Sunday that he has the evidence that can prove that the 2020 election was stolen and arrests are imminent. So I will wait. I will wait because my reputation stands by this. If he comes up with some arrests and can prove the 2020 election was stolen, I got to come back and say, I eat crow. I apologize for years. I was wrong, but I ain't going to be wrong because there was no fraud. It's been litigated and litigated and litigated and litigated and litigated, and there was never any fraud. And you need to get over it. Embrace the fact that Uncle Fluffy stumbled staggeringly, haphazardly into the presidency. That's the way it is. So we'll wait, and let's see if anybody goes to jail. And if anybody's going anywhere, it's Kash Patel leaving the White House. We'll see what happens. In the meantime, Kathy's looking for adventure. Professor Kathy Abernathy. How are you, Professor?
We'll talk about someone who's got their motor running. Wow. Wow.
Well, when I get
A+ performance. Good.
When I get vindicated, I'm a happy man, and I feel vindicated. I do. I've already gotten rid of Pam, as per my prediction. Pete's got some time because we're in the middle of a war, but when it's all over, he'll be gone as well. And I think Kash Patel has got about, I'm not that good. I can't give you a time. Within the next 3 months, he's gone. He's gone. Why? Do you believe that the 2020 election was stolen, that he's got the evidence and that people are about to go to jail?
I don't know what he's got. I don't know what that evidence is. So I don't know. I know nothing about it. How I could ever prove it.
Kathy, he has no evidence. You know.
Well, why would he say that, though?
Because he's trying to wag the dog. He's trying to wag the dog. The Atlantic just wrote a scathing. Have you read about the article? I know you didn't read it, but you had to have read about it.
About whose?
Kash Patel.
Oh, I didn't read the article. No,
I know you
didn't read
didn't
about
read
it.
the-
I didn't read about it.
You know
either.
nothing
No,
about
I
the
know
Atlantic
nothing
story.
about the Atlantic
Well, let me
story.
explain it to you. Let's have a moment with Kathy, shall we? The Atlantic is accusing him of excessive drinking. They have two.
Oh, yes, I know about that. Yeah, I thought you meant about voter fraud. I thought you meant the
Oh,
Atlantic
no,
wrote
the
an
first
article.
story, the drunkenness, the
yeah.
missing in action. In fact, the story is called The FBI Director is MIA. And they're just reports from like if it's 3 or 4 anonymous sources, maybe. But when they've got 2, and the Atlantic is a very reputable publication, is it not?
Well, yeah, I don't know that some people aren't saying things just to say them because I think that guy's a workhorse. So I think it'd be hard to drink and be a workhorse. But
That's why they're saying he's been missing work. You can't be. You're absolutely right. You cannot be an alcoholic and be a workaholic.
Right.
And who knows it better than I? Because my show suffered in the years where I was drinking heavily. There's no question about it. Even in an afternoon show around 05, 06, when I finally faced my situation, there's no question my show was much worse than it is now, that I don't do that kind of stuff. But you're right. There's even a passage where somebody in the security detail claimed that they tried to wake him up one afternoon and they couldn't wake him up because he was so drunk or so hungover.
Well, we'll see. I don't know.
It'd be
he
so
seems
much-
like a
it'd be
workaholic to me.
This
That's
would
what he
be
seems
so
like.
much fun, Kathy, if you could be intellectually honest every single Monday.
Not about Kash Patel. I like him. I really do.
I know
I
you
like
do,
him.
but you can't be
I
objective.
don't know if he's drunk or if he's slept 2 hours. I don't know if that person knows that part.
If the Californian wrote a story about me that said
you were drunk?
2 dozen sources at American General Media said Bailey comes in smelling like booze,
I would
and
disagree because I've been around you so much.
okay, that's
Sorry.
not fair. You got me on that one.
But I don't
Okay,
know
if you
Cash
called-
Patel personally at all.
But
so.
my point is, you really think 2 dozen people are lying?
Well, by name? They have their name.
No,
names,
you
names,
can't do
yeah.
that. You know.
Well, it just seems like Republicans get all this on them, and then nobody ever talks about Democrats.
I
when
just
they're
talked
on
about
this.
Sheila McCormick, who's about to get expelled tomorrow, in my opinion.
Yeah, she won't get expelled because the Democrats don't want to shift the balance of power enough away from them.
Ooh, I didn't factor that in.
Yeah.
Because my reasoning why I think Democrats are going to vote for her to be expelled is because of the midterms. Because she's going to go to jail, Kathy. Do you know what she did with FEMA money?
I was hearing some of what you just said on
Yeah,
the
she
air.
converted it legally into her finance deal, helped it finance her campaign, and also went on luxurious trips, designer clothes, jewelry. She's got it. She's going to jail. Expulsion. It's like Swalwell. Expulsion was the last thing on his mind. That boy going to jail.
What a mess. What
Oh,
a mess.
he's
Yeah,
going
but
to jail,
even voting him out, the Rahana and all those Democrats that act like they're bipartisan said, well, we have to get this other Republican congressman too. So
Yeah, true.
that's the way they play.
They wanted a swip swap. They
Yeah,
wanted
right.
Swalwell for Tony Gonzalez.
Right. Party label is all that matters to them right now. So
Well, we might give him Corey Mills. Make it an even swap, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. It's but I think the ethics committee coming out with anything is shocking because it gets buried there. It takes 5 and 5 Democrats,
Right.
5 Republicans, so it has to be bipartisan.
Right. And
So
the fact that
that's
it
good
came
they're
out of that
doing it.
committee. Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty basic stuff. Well, what's that other lady's name that married her brother
Married her brother.
to get citizenship? What's her name? Oh, you thought she really did?
Yeah.
Well, she really did, but she.
God dang it.
What's her name? Not. Oh, your listeners probably know.
I know that you're on the radio. I can't remember either.
I don't
but yeah, I know
remember
what
it
you're
either.
talking about.
She's a piece of work, but and she just
Is it
filed.
Omar? Is it Elon Omar?
Yeah, isn't that her?
Yeah.
And she just filed a report that said she's not a multi-millionaire. She's worth 95,000. She just amended her asset statement.
Yeah. She's a piece of work.
That was funny.
So tell us what's going on in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Oh, Virginia.
Oh, no,
yeah.
you don't start with
Well, I'll start with this just because
All right.
if you can see this, I guess they can. This
Yeah,
booklet you all
absolutely.
got in the mail.
You see that?
And you get it every year, and that's why it was upsetting when it came out this way, because politicians passed a law that said, well, if you're running for a statewide office, governor, lieutenant to governor, attorney general, those races, 7, 8 of those, if you agree to spending limits, then when we put out this booklet, we'll include your that you're agreeing to that, and you can then buy a ballot statement to be put in here, which is like, how much is it? It's about $11,000.
Are you serious?
Yes. So, but see, incumbents like you to be under a spending limit because they have natural incumbency, which is worth millions. But actually Hilton and Bianco agreed to it because spending limits is just what your campaign spends on you. But if the realtors PAC and the union PACs all spend money on you, that's not included. So PAC
money is big because
right, it's most of it.
We are just beginning as a radio station. I don't know if I should be telling our business, but starting to get inundated with PAC money. And I'll tell you during the break.
Oh, buying ads.
Yeah. And I'll tell you during the break what some of the local guys are spending, and you'll be surprised.
Interesting. Yeah.
High 4 figures.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, so this booklet, people all say, oh, Steve Hilton's name, his picture's not in it, he's not in it. He agreed to spending limits. Bianco agreed to spending limits, but only Bianco agreed to pay for $11,000 to have that's not the ballot statement. That's the minimum, the spending limits. He agreed to also buy a ballot statement and put it in here. And that's why you don't see him, you don't see Steve Hilton in here. And it's not because of some mistake. you see people who paid for a ballot statement. I don't have the dollar amount of what it's per word.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's
Hilton
not.
or Bianco or not either one of them?
No, they both accepted spending limits. And so Hilton's name in there and Bianco's name, but Bianco also agreed to pay for a ballot statement with his picture. And so, but there's no Hilton. And so people felt it was a mistake, deliberate mistake against Hilton, but that's not the case. And I had,
11 G's.
Yeah.
Did all the people that could possibly win invest, i.e. Tom Steyer, Xavier Becerra, we're going to talk about in a second.
Yeah, Becerra's in here. Porter, I don't think she did.
I thought I saw a picture when you were flipping through the pages.
Okay.
Big,
yeah, I want to say
fat
the
face,
spending limit.
fat
The
face.
spending limit is 11 million. Not paying to put a little ballot statement in here. I don't know how much that is.
Okay.
Okay. So, did I see her in here? Maybe so.
I thought I did. Maybe I
Okay.
could be wrong.
So anyway, it's not a mistake, and Hilton did agree to the spending limits. Again, he will have a lot of support from outside political action committees.
We have yet to get him on, and Chris, make note of this. We've got to get him on because we've had Chad Bianco on twice.
I'll be glad to let him know.
Reach out to the Hilton camp.
I
and
have
get
his
him in.
cell if it's still
Oh,
valid.
you do?
Yeah.
Well, outstanding. Hand that to Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll talk to him.
Yeah,
if he didn't
absolutely.
Tell me to get away.
Absolutely.
Virginia. Yeah, the state of Virginia. They are part of this effort around the nation to immediately redraw seats by the legislature for Congress so that they can try to take control of the House of Representatives. And so they have an election coming up tomorrow. They had early voting up until Friday or Thursday. So a lot of people already voted. This is a plan. They have a commission in Virginia. I think it's fairly a fair one, not like the one we have. And they draw all the districts, and their state constitutional law that they pass says, and only this commission can do it. But this is the legislature putting on the ballot an override to say, well, this time and for the next years until 2030, we're drawing the seats. And they took Virginia from what? They have 11 seats in Virginia for Congress. And it went from 6 Democrat, 5 Republicans, to 10 Democrat, 1 Republican seat. They drew it that way.
How did they were able to do that with the
Well,
number of independents and the number of?
Well, because they
it's not a
draw
blue
fingers
state.
and they draw, well, the blue part is the closest to Washington where all the government employees live. And then the rest of it's rural Virginia. And you can see on a map, if you go online, you can see this district. You see one big, huge district that goes all over, picking up all the Republicans into one seat. And then the other seats are all very, very poorly drawn in terms of how they look. Getting back to the Abernathy proposal, which is honor city and county boundaries. The less you break them, the more fair your plan. That's the only way to do this thing fair. But so Virginia, if they vote tomorrow, they're going to pick up, they'll have 5 more seats, and they'll help take over the House.
I have asked you this 1,787 times, and I will ask you 1,788 times. How is there not a consensus among legislators all across this country to get rid of gerrymandering? We can't agree that gerrymandering sucks. I thought that was bipartisan. I thought everybody in politics realized that that's the worst creation in the history of American politics.
Mm-hmm. Well, they figured out a better gimmick because, like I said, when I worked in Congress and in the 80s and 90s, and even the redistricting done in 2001, it's always done the year after the census. The legislators drew the lines, and they were fair. Nobody was screaming about this stuff because some years there were 26 Democrats in Congress and from California and 24 Republicans. Some years 29, 22 with Republicans higher. It was fair because they had their neck on the line, and perhaps they didn't want to have the accusation, but nobody cares about that anymore. So then they switched to a commission, which was a cover-up, just like the one in California, where it's people you don't know. And like I said, they're not going to put me on it. They won't put anyone that drives by my house on it. It's just a bunch of people I never heard of, but the drawers of the districts are state employees in the Bureau of Auditors, appointed by the head auditor by the governor. So the commission in California is a joke. That's why we don't need to go the way of that. But it's just interesting. In the 80s and 90s, the state assembly went from Democrat to Republican. It switched every couple years.
In Virginia.
No, in California, even. we had speaker, his name was Brian Setensich, just for a year or so.
Brian
That's,
Setensich.
remember that name?
God, he was a one-hit wonder.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm just saying, even when the legislators did it, wasn't so bad. But now the whole thing is control of the House of Representatives to stop Trump's last 2 years in office, to impeach him, as people say. It's just total game playing, but if they get away with it, they get away with it. And they got away with it here last fall. I don't know how many of your listeners didn't understand it or voted yes on 50, because Prop 50 redrew California lines, and we're down to 4 seats out of 52. And the reason you say, well, Republicans aren't popular in California, no, Donald Trump got 40% of the statewide vote. We have some candidates getting 45% of the statewide vote. But when you draw seats that are drawn for one party over the other, we get nothing.
Yeah,
So
right.
anyway, that's Virginia will be tomorrow night. We'll see if the voters, well, the rest of the voters, I'm sure early voting was probably pretty heavy. So we'll see.
Just a note to our listeners, it is officially 420.
Spark up.
Will you be going home and smoking a little marijuana on 420, Kathy?
No.
Not even once, Kathy? No?
No, not even once.
Not me.
Such things have never touched your lips.
That's
ever.
right. That's right.
Not even
Never.
in Westwood.
And neither have
As
cigarettes.
an 18-year-old in Westwood at UCLA.
Beer was the only thing that I'd never had that I touched my lips there, and I still don't like it. But they served it at frat parties in the bathtub.
Of
Just
course.
poured it in.
Just really?
Yes.
You didn't have kegs back in those days?
Well, they did, but not at this one I was at, which was probably the last one.
That's nasty. I'm not drinking anything out of
Honest.
anybody's bathtub.
I was shocked. I was shocked, but I don't remember the name of the fraternity.
I have some clarification here. Now, are we saying like bathtub full of ice with cans of beer, or are we saying beer
in the
open?
tub?
No, it was, unless I'm dreaming, it was beer in the tub.
The liquid is in the tub, and you get a
You
you
go
get a
up,
mug.
yes.
and just drink.
Oh, that's
Now,
disgusting.
this is probably the
absolutely
least popular fraternity must have been on
No
campus.
kidding.
That's why I got invited. I just-
Phi Beta dummy. That's disgusting.
Yeah, yeah.
They're trying to tear a page out of the 20s, obviously, with
Right.
what was it, a bathtub gin. They used to serve gin in the 20s during Prohibition out of the
Well,
the
maybe
bathroom
they
in the
used
tub.
cleanser on it in advance, but
Yeah.
I doubt a fraternity has a can of cleanser.
And then it became a phrase that if you swilled gin from like a speakeasy, it was called bathtub gin.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was illegal.
Okay, there you go.
But I ain't never heard of bathroom beer though, and that's disgusting.
Especially in a fraternity house.
Yes, I forgot about that. It's a bunch of 18, 20-year-old men, and you're drinking out of their tub, which they don't take baths, so it's obviously just their feet on. Oh Lord,
Clean it.
that's just nasty.
I should have remembered the name of that fraternity. Nobody was shocked but me. I was shocked. They weren't.
And they were just lapping it up too.
I guess, yeah.
Good, Google and booklet. That is disgusting.
But California governor, I don't know if you wanted to go into
Yes,
that. Yeah.
Betty E is out. Did you see that?
Yeah, and I thought she would have done better than you had to get 3%, I guess, at least, and she wasn't
couldn't do
doing
it.
it. No,
Couldn't do it.
I still think Katie Porter will get the Democrat nomination at least in June. I still think she will.
Do we have a bet on this?
Yeah, we better do that.
Okay.
Now,
Lunch?
Steyer, yeah, lunch is fine.
Because you're crazy. You've lost your mind.
Really?
No chance.
You don't think Katie Porter?
No
You
chance.
think from that one ad,
No chance.
one thing?
No, I
she's,
just think
she's a tough broad.
she is a tough broad, which is her problem because she doesn't have a soft side of her. It's one thing to be strong, like Margaret Thatcher, but Margaret Thatcher had a
Cross act.
soft class way about going it. Hillary couldn't figure it out. Margaret Thatcher figured it out. Obviously, Eva Peron. There are a lot of ladies and just in general in society. You're an example.
Yeah, Sandra
You're an
O'Connor.
example. Yes, exactly. Sandra O'Connor. You're an example. A strong woman who doesn't take crap from anybody, but still has an empathetic side. Katie Porter doesn't.
Yeah.
And the problem with it is you can normally keep that a secret, but when you're on a Zoom and you curse out your staffer, and then the rumor gets out that you poured mashed potatoes on your ex-husband, and
Yeah, that
stuff
was
like-
that
you
was
know.
odd too.
Yeah.
She's an odd duck.
She is. So
But,
that's why, and I think that's what we're going to talk about just right now. As a matter of fact, I think Xavier Becerra, out of nowhere, I knew those Eric Swalwell's votes were going to go somewhere,
Mhm.
but I didn't see them going to Becerra, who jumped from 3 to 13, and to Steyer, who was already on the rise because he's got more money than God, but it went to him. I think, because I still think, Kathy, I know you think I'm nuts, I still think Chad Bianco can get in there, guaranteeing us a Republican governor.
You mean getting one into the general? You were saying two. You were saying both.
Yes,
Chad.
well, I think Hilton is a given. I'm chalking up Hilton as an absolute given.
Well, you wait till the Democrats start beating him up. If they see that happening, they'll be beating him up. I remind everybody, the ballots still aren't in anyone's hands till May 5th or 6th.
And we got
very few people vote the first couple weeks.
And we got a huge debate coming up on KGT on Wednesday at 7 o'clock. And then another one on May 7th on CNN.
And then we have, just the Republicans here, May 9. The two Republicans are coming.
Ooh, that's right.
The young
That's
Republicans are
gonna be a good
hosting
one.
that. Yeah.
I'm going to go to that. Where is that?
May 9. Excuse me. Is that a Saturday? Saturday afternoon, May 9. And it's.
Is that Mother's Day weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm in LA.
That's not a.
I'm in LA.
They didn't pick the date. That's what they were giving.
Yeah, I'm leaving Friday night.
But anyway, I think what I was going to mention to you, though, what I look at is the June of 2022 primary. That Newsom got 56% of the vote, Brian Dahle 17% because he had a crowded other Republicans. But the total vote, the two of them, 4 million, 1.2 million. So 6 million voters, that's all, if you can find them. Newsom had 4 million, and then by the general, Newsom went up 2 million to 6.4 million. I think that was indicative of not a lot of interest in those races.
And I think what's indicative that the Democrats don't even believe in the Democrats is, don't you find it really strange that Pelosi and Schiff and Newsom have not endorsed anybody?
Well, that's true. Newsom.
They are staying completely
Well, they don't
out
want
of
to do
this
a
thing.
loser. That's why. They're probably are they going to wait till after June?
They would have to, because they have, you know why? Because they have no idea who is going to be that second person, or maybe the two top Democrats. I still think Hilton is solid in there. It's a matter of who he's going to go up against. And I'm still thinking that there's a chance. I once thought there was a likelihood. Now I'm saying there's a chance that Bianco fills that second spot. But if it's not Bianco, it's going to be Steyer or Becerra.
I don't know how your audience, if they're watching all those Steyer ads, have you watched them? Do they?
How can you not? Do you
I know,
watch
how do you-
television?
that's right.
That's what you should have asked.
That's
Do you
right.
watch television? Okay,
And
but
that's
you've
just
seen Steyer
television.
ads.
Do they impress you at all?
Not really, but you know how
I
you
wouldn't
know
use
better than
him.
I how advertising works.
Well, I just think that I wouldn't use him talking because he's got a weak
Yeah,
look to him, and he doesn't seem like someone you'd want to know.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
seems like a weirdo.
So I don't, but he's got, like you said, has more money than God. So he's going to have a lot of ads. But we're going to have to look at the way the world is the second week of May, I think, because by then everybody's ads will kick in, and we'll see. If two Republicans made the general, that'll be something. But I don't see
20-80 chance.
Yeah,
20-80.
it's a long shot.
It is a long shot,
But
but
unless people are so mad at California, which they should be,
absolutely.
that we ought to have a wholesale change. Now they got to change who's in the Capitol building, or you're wasting your time. But at least
Stop
we
saying
could.
that.
Well, it's just
You're not
true.
wasting your time. Vote for Hilton or Bianco. Go listen to her. You don't know what she's talking about.
But look at who you're voting for in the legislature, because those folks, they pass laws, and that's where it happens. And we have to change who's in there. Those people in there, driven up. So like Steyer's saying he's going to work to lower the price of housing. Well, the reason it's high in California is all the requirements they put on you to build a house. 1,800 fire in the ceiling, whatever you call it. All the fire extinguisher things. All this stuff is just overkill, and everything else. But housing. Built the house we're in now. I built in 2000. It was total with a pool, which today, that was a $20,000 pool. Today, pools are $100,000.
Yep.
So then it was $400. It's now worth $850. I tell people, you sell it for $850. Where are you going to go? Go buy $1.2 million.
Well,
Who can get into a market like that? So why did it shoot up?
Not kids coming out of college, not kids coming out of grad school.
So it's a big problem. Why does everything cost so much in California?
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think this debate, that's why I think this debate Wednesday is so gargantuan.
I hope
Because
people
I think
watch.
Hilton and Bianco will break down just how bad a shape the state is in.
Yeah.
And I think that'll keep some
I
people
hope they
on.
don't go after each other. I hope
I
they
hope so
focus.
too.
Yeah.
That's a great point. Kathy Abernathy, everybody. But you know they will. They can't stand each other.
Kern
Maybe they
Radio,
will be smart enough
News
to
Talk
realize,
96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
News. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The Supreme Court will hear from Catholic preschools that say it's unconstitutional to exclude them from a state-funded program because they won't admit kids from LGBT families. It's the latest religious rights case for the court.
he's on the rise,
The justices on Monday said they'll hear from Colorado's St. Mary Catholic Parish and the Archdiocese of Denver. Apple CEO Tim Cook is stepping down from the job that he inherited from the late Steve Jobs, ending a nearly 15-year reign that saw the company's market value soar by more than $3.6 trillion during an iPhone-fueled era of prosperity. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 4 points, the Nasdaq dropped 84, the S&P 500 lower by 18. More details at slnnews.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. Headlines from the KERN Newsroom.
I'm Chris Davis. The man who Kern County deputies say stole a Ridgecrest PD patrol car Sunday morning has been ID'd as 41-year-old Julian Harper, who was under arrest on drug and restraining order violation charges. KGET reports he was in the back of the car with another person who had been arrested and attacked that person and headbutted the officer who tried to intervene, then was able to steal the car, stopped later when he crashed north of Rosamond. About 2,800 customers lost power this morning at Brundage Lane and Mount Vernon Avenue when someone hit a power pole, says PG&E. That was about 2:45 a.m. Gas has come down some and is now $5.79 on average across the state. You can find it for $4.99 at a station on Edison Highway. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
Are gas prices the final straw to break the camel's back? Are you drowning in debt so that more gas means you can't pay for other essential stuff? Are you getting collection calls, emails, and texts on credit cards, medical debt, loans, buy now, pay later, and so forth? The attorneys at Clean Slate BK Group have a solution to make the nightmare go away. CSBK can stop the harassment, get rid of the balances, maybe even get your car payment reduced, and get you reset in the right financial direction for a fraction of the time and money of a debt settlement program. A Chapter 7 BK takes about 6 months, and at the end, the financial straws will be off your back. Log on to CSBK.com and read what real people just like you have to say about what CSBK has done for them. This is an attorney advertisement. Your results may vary, and prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome. Clean Slate BK Group PC, located at 7 Penn Plaza, Suite 601, New York, 10001, is responsible for the content of this ad. For more information, visit CSBK.com. That's CSBK.com to end your financial nightmare.
Tuesday edition, Clay Travis, Buck Sexton show, the deadline on whether or not there will be a resolution in Iran. Plus, we will be joined by Molly Hemingway to talk about her new book on Justice Alito. Could Alito be retiring? What drama in the background was Molly Hemingway able to discover? All that and more. Tuesday edition, you won't want to miss it. Clay and Buck.
Live at 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
Hey, it's JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, starting at 1 p.m. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
Okay, I know it's Neil Diamond. Neil Diamond. Neil Young. how is this marijuana related?
Roll another number for the road.
Oh, is that? I guess you got to pay attention to the lyrics and the title. I'm a big Neil Young fan. I've never heard this song in my life.
Really?
Never.
Oh.
And I love Neil Young.
Time to put him more in the rotation.
Yes, please. Despite what Leonard Skinner said about him. What was that? Do you know what that was all about?
I really don't. I know there's a whole thing that has to do, I think, with
There's a whole
Sweet
passage.
Home Alabama.
Yes. How does it go, y'all? Southern man don't need him around anyhow.
Yeah, something like that.
Neil Young should remember. Yeah, I can't remember. 842-537-6, 842-KERN. Let's check the board. Anybody talking about anything?
Yeah, I got a couple.
What do you got?
Let's see. Ralph, have you ever heard of the Logan Act? Why is Trump's son-in-law and his billionaire friend, two Jewish guys, negotiating for the United States?
Well, I know they're doing a pretty damn good job. They settled the Gaza situation, the Abraham Accords. Until they screw it up, I think they're doing well. I think we're as close as we've ever been in Ukraine to peace. We're not very close, I'll admit, but we're closer than we ever were throughout this entire administration in the last year or so than we ever were with Uncle Fluffy. And just the attack, or I shouldn't say the method of how we're dealing with Ukraine has changed with this administration, where we were spending our money and sending them our military technology and military tools. Now Trump gets in office and he's selling them to them. Now, granted, that's up Trump's alley, of course, the art of the deal, but it's a good deal. And in doing that as well, he's got NATO to jump up to 5% to kicking in for their own security. Now, again, as it's been well argued and well documented by me, I'm against walking away from NATO, but I'm not against demanding that NATO step up. So, it's nice to describe these guys as two Jewish real estate guys, but they did something that nobody else has done. The Abraham Accords, you're going to argue with that? You're going to argue what's going on in Gaza? You're going to argue that it's a bad thing that for the first time in 34 years that Lebanon and Israel are talking, that the Iranians are coming to Islamabad tomorrow? You liberal Democrats scream and yell and argue about what we're doing, and yet it's working. It's working. And I'm not in favor of how we've done this, kind of stumbling and bumbling around. And it seems to me that it's almost a day-to-day examination and analysis of what we are going to do and what we should do. But there's no question that it's working. We've moved the needle in the Middle East. The Lebanese and the Israelis are talking for the first time in over 3 decades. How can that be bad? Argue with me. Explain it to me, how that's bad. Talk me through why it's bad that the Ayatollah is dead. Walk me through and explain to me, like I'm a 6th grader, why it's bad that 40 of their top leaders in the IRGC are dead. Explain it to me, because I don't understand. Because it seems to me that everything's going pretty well. Now, am I going to still be critical? I heard a great conversation this morning that can explain my position. They were talking about this on The View, believe it or not. And they were so happy about how Megyn Kelly and Joe Rogan and Tucker Carlson are against the way the president is waging this war, and how the MAGA solid group is crumbling. And I think it was Alyssa Farrah Griffith, who was a Republican and former Trump cabinet member, not cabinet member, but part of the administration, but is now a never Trumper. And she added, and isn't it remarkable that they all say that if Trump ran again, they'd vote for him again? That's my position. I don't like Donald Trump. I just don't. I don't think he's a good human being. I think he's mean-spirited. I think he's got a lack of decorum and no sense of tradition, putting up arcs and ballrooms, putting his name above John Kennedy's, being glad that the former FBI director is dead. John McCain wasn't really a hero because he got shot down. I don't like the man. And I don't like the way he's waging this war, but I do like what he's trying to do. And the reality is, if there wasn't in the Constitution that he couldn't run in third term, and he ran for, I guess, a fourth term against, let me just get to the point. There's no Democrat that I see on the horizon that I would vote for over Donald Trump. As critical as I am of Donald Trump, and after what I just said, I don't like it. I just don't like it. And if he called the show right now and said, I want to come over and have dinner with you, Ralph, well, I'd say yes. Let's stop lying. But figuratively speaking, I'd say no. If it was certainly based on the quality of the man. Now, the fact that he's the 45th or 47th president would demand that I would have to have dinner with him. It'd be historical. Are you kidding? What are you, stupid? But you get my point. And I think that's where a lot of us stand right now. And it has to be that I'm accurate on that because 67% of the American public disagree on how this thing's being waged. That's not just Democrats. But the reality is the Democratic Party is so vacant of leadership. Hell, I just told you there's a gubernatorial race going on and the outgoing governor hasn't endorsed anybody. Doesn't that tell you how incompetent this field is? Nancy Pelosi won't endorse anybody. Senator Schiff won't endorse anybody. Now they will if one of those two luckily get into the general election because they'll be running against either Steve Hilton or Chad Bianco. So they'll be full-throatedly supporting whoever gets to the position. But the fact that there's no standout in the party, there's not one person, and you know why? Imagine if they had endorsed Swalwell. So they're afraid, as Kathy pointed out, they're afraid to back a loser. You pick Tom Steyer and he gets destroyed, and now you look like an idiot. No, they're not going to, and Newsom in particular cares about that because he's got a presidential bid he's warming up for. Nancy Pelosi doesn't care. She's a multimillionaire. She's going to go off with her dented-headed husband. Too soon? Dented-headed? You got hit in that? Oh, forget it. But I think it just illustrates what a poor group it is. And as we talked about with Kathy, Betty Yee is finally punched out, which is bizarre. I'm sure the Democratic Party is just shaking their head because when they had their convention, remember when nobody could get 60% of the ballot, including Jasmine Baines in her election, and because you need 60% to get the endorsement of the Democratic Party, and nobody got that endorsement. But yet Betty Yee finished second. Of all the candidates in that convention, Betty Yee finished second, and yet she could not convince the rest of the state. She couldn't even get to 3%. And the question demands, how are these people so stupid? And I guess there is reason to hang on, because as I mentioned with Kathy, because I'm kind of talking out of both sides of my mouth, I'm saying it's stupid to hang in there with 3%, but at the same time, Xavier Becerra just jumped from 3% to 10%. This thing is so split out and so watered down that a good or a bad, that's why I think this debate on Wednesday is so pivotal, because this thing is so weird and so evenly split. There's a 7% difference between the leader and the fourth place candidate. That's crazy. That's essentially like we're coming down the stretch of the Kentucky Derby and there are 4 horses that are all within 2 lengths of one another, which you'd never see. Not 4 horses coming to the wire. It's rare. You can see it, obviously. It's gambling, it's sports. Anything can happen. But it rarely happens where you got 4 horses coming down the stretch and everybody that's betting thinks they're going to win. And now you got Bianco, Hilton, Steyer, Becerra, and Porter. And, you know, she went to the tote window and bet on Katie Porter. I'm betting on Becerra. Right now, I'll tell you more depthly on Thursday after the debate, because I think it's going to be a gigantic fork in the road. I really do. And I pray Kathy's right. The Sheriff Bianco and Steve Hilton don't try to tear each other apart and focus on Steyer, Porter, and Becerra, with Matt Mahan jumping in there because he got jumped up to 5%. But, I mean, think about it. There's a 12-point difference between Matt Mahan, who most of you have never heard of, and the leader. It's just, it's an exceptionally crazy race, and I'm still hanging on. I don't know if I'd call it the belief more than the hope that Sheriff Bianco can jump a little bit, because, again, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's Bianco and a Democrat. But I think Steve Hilton is definitely going to be one of the two candidates. Although, like I said, he could crap the bed Wednesday night, and Republicans just be like, whoa. And Bianco jumps up, or vice versa, or they both outdo all the Democrats, and they both get a jump from it. You know, you never know. It's going to be fascinating. I strongly suggest you tune in. KGT on 7. It's a Nexstar event. It's going to all the Nexstar stations, and KGT happens to be one of those Nexstar stations. And then Frank Buckley, you're familiar with him. I don't know the other woman, and I wasn't familiar with the call letters on her television station. But Frank Buckley, I'm sure most of you at least tune in occasionally to KTLA. I think they're the best news organization in Los Angeles. And Buckley is one of the main anchors. He's a good guy, really good journalist. I got to meet him twice, actually. I got to meet him in Atlanta once. And I met him in Washington once, just by happenstance. Really nice guy. I got to talk to him when I was in D.C. But hang on, folks. This is going to be a fun ride. And if we stay together, and as I always talk about when we get close to elections, it's not enough to vote. It really isn't. It really, really isn't. You've got to be more active than that. Got to talk to your friends. Hey, Chris, you going to vote? You going to vote? You're a Republican. You going to vote? Yeah, you're going to, okay, make sure you vote. Talk to your friends. Go get your grandmother. Make sure she gets to the polls. Call your friends. Ask your friends. You need rights to vote? Anybody need some help getting to the polls? Anybody need some help understanding how to vote? Are you registered? Blah, 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 blah. We've got to work this thing. It is an uphill climb for the Republicans in a one-party state. And so it's not enough to simply show up. When you've got the numbers, when you're the overwhelming majority of the state, all you got to say is show up. Just show up. But when you're the minority, we've got to work it. We've got to work it. It's more than just showing up. It's making sure that your friends are aware. Hey, next Tuesday is election day. Are you registered? Do you vote? You need a ride? Whatever we need to do. We have a unique opportunity here. A unique opportunity where we can not only in getting Bianco and Hilton to the finish line, do we guarantee ourselves a Republican governor, but I think it puts a dent in this jungle primary deal, where perhaps the Democrats will say to themselves, screw this, we just got blocked out in a one-party state, and the state's ours. And we just got blocked out. Let's go back to the old days where we were guaranteed a spot, and the Republicans were guaranteed a spot, and we took those two obviously adverse opinions and ideologies to the people of California and let them decide, as opposed to overwhelming the Republicans, keeping them out of the general, or maybe letting one slide in and the numbers overwhelm the Republican. Maybe this will put a dent in this jungle primary, this idiotic idea that whoever gets the top 2 votes, regardless of party, goes to the general. It's ridiculous. Doesn't make sense. It should be a battle between the Republican ideology and the Democratic ideology in any general election, just as we do for the presidency. Can you imagine if the presidency was run like that, where the 2 top vote getters went to the general election? There'd be years where there'd be 2 Republicans, but most of the time there might be 2 Democrats. We'd never, ever think of doing that. But leave it to the state of California. They'll certainly do it. Our idiotic neighbors, just like high-speed rail. Let's go ahead and take a break. And we come back, we will check the board. Still got to tell you about Mr. Patel. No, not your doctor, because there are many, many doctors in this community named Patel. No, our FBI director, Cash, who's about to cash in his chips and leave the White House. I guarantee. He's out. He's out. We'll tell you about the Atlantic story that's causing chaos. And his assertion, Kash Patel has told us now, you'll hear from him in just a minute, he has the evidence. After 6 years, and Rudy Giuliani and his cohorts and the investigations and the phone calls to the Secretary of State of Georgia, just find me 11,000 votes, and all the litigation and all the litigation and all the litigation, leave it to the wonderful Kash Patel, Frank Colombo, Barnaby Jones, Sherlock Holmes. Kash Patel has found the evidence that will prove that the 2020 election was stolen. I can't wait. Oh, it's so funny. Quick timeout. We're coming right back. It's TRBS on a Monday, right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. Streaming live, KernRadio.com.
Kern Radio.
Casey.
AM 1230, KERN. First Look with Scott Cox, morning 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Tuesday edition of the First Look program, we just found out we're going to have water flowing through the Kern River, and Lois Henry from SJV Water will join us, and she'll tell us how long we can expect that to be the case. We have the latest in state-of-the-art news and traffic and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Was on the phone this morning with owner-operator of Casey Steakhouse, Cassie Biddle. She's just a remarkable young woman. I mean, to think that she runs essentially two restaurants, the main restaurant and the Speakeasy Bar next door, where you can have dinner and you can reserve the banquet room for election night parties, luncheons. I know a lot of the hospital people have like weekly luncheons in there. Or you can just simply have dinner with Haley. She's the bartender, and Lottie is in there playing her acoustic guitar Thursday, Fridays, and Saturday nights. And to think that she has time to be on the planning commission and deal with the issues we were talking about, local issues this morning, just shows you what an incredibly remarkable woman she is. And she just happens to run the finest steakhouse in Kern County. How do I know that? I know that because you all voted Kern County's residents, Casey Steakhouse, the top steakhouse in Kern County. As well, you should have. It's Casey Steakhouse, and they are longtime sponsors of the Ralph Bailey Show.
Last week, there was the Paul Sheldon sighting. Kind of rare and very exciting. Everyone asking, where has he been? Of course, his clients weren't worried about their Medicare, even when Paul in person wasn't there, because there's Christine, Kelly, and Lynn. The grandkids like to play, where's Waldo? Granddad's asking, hey, where'd Paul go? Just games that are fun to win. But when push comes to shove and the day is done, we know it's covered, so it's all in fun. Because there's Christine, Kelly, and Lynn. Over the years, so many have said it, the guy's a genius. Gotta give the man credit. He put it together way back then. Brought along those three Medicare pros, who of course by now everyone knows are Christine, Kelly, and Lynn.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398
soccer player
2298.
Sue Bird.
Every day is sale day. No one can beat us, no one can touch us. You won't find better prices. Shop and compare, we don't care. Take a look our way and come into Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Carpet Outlet Plus is celebrating 30 years in business by offering you no interest financing for 12 months. Head over to carpetoutletplus.com to apply now. You can get new waterproof flooring and comfy carpet in the bedrooms, all from one trusted place. Over 70,000 customers can't be wrong. It's probably been time to change your floors for a while, so call, click, or stop by today. Carpet Outlet Plus, 3.5 blocks west of 99 on Rosedale Highway.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton live at 9 a.m. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Didn't realize I can't forget you.
put it in my bag, wrapped it up, put some other stuff, forgot I had glass in there, and just dropped the bag. And I heard a beep. I was like, that would have been a Bailey record. That would have broken the Jackie Robinson record. I broke that in about an hour and a half. That would have been like 20 minutes. Not even 20 minutes.
Can't be trusted.
I really can't. I don't take care of stuff. It's like I'm brain dead. It really is. I don't know. I don't have time to get into cash. I'll do that at the top of the hour. So let's check the board. Anything?
Yeah, I have a couple here.
What do you got?
Any evidence has not been seen by the courts. All the judges dismissed the cases, saying President Trump had no standing.
Why do you think I have such glee? And I shouldn't. I guess I shouldn't. I've always believed, and I mean this locally, I'd never want to see anybody get fired. I've been fired 4 times, and it's just the worst thing that's not the worst thing, but it's a hard day, boy. It's a tough day when you go home and you realize I don't have a job. I don't have insurance. I'm by myself. It's a tough deal. So I wouldn't want anybody to get fired. But on that level, they've got money. They'll be fine. I don't care about Kash Patel. And he's incompetent. From the get-go, he's incompetent. He has no FBI experience. There's no real law enforcement experience. He was just one of the guys. That's why this cabinet is so incompetent, that Trump went for competence in 2016. And he got pushback. And he got people to tell him no. And as you all know, to a person, Donald Trump doesn't like to be told no. But if you are higher up, you're in that office, you're in that cabinet position, you're one of those people, chief of staff, etc. There are times when you have to tell the president, no. Well, you don't tell Donald Trump no. So what he did the second term is he got a bunch of sycophants who will do whatever he says. And they're not, in my opinion, this cabinet is not, other than Marco Rubio, the transportation secretary, I forget the transportation secretary, and I don't have time to try to remember it. Burgum, I forget what he's doing, but he's the former governor of some state, Idaho. I can't remember. Don't quote me. But he's decent. Sean Duffy is the transportation secretary. Rubio, Duffy, Burgum, the Treasury Secretary. There are a handful. Susie Wiles, the chief of staff. There are competent, smart people in that cabinet. And then there are sycophants. And Patel is one. Exit's another. Pam Bondi is already gone, is the third. And they're incompetent. But that's not really true, because Bondi was competent. But Bondi, like many of these people, including Marco Rubio, they have changed themselves once they come under the umbrella of Donald Trump, where it's no longer about the Constitution, the United States, the residents, the citizens. It's now about Trump. To keep my job, I must please Trump. And in my opinion, with Patel on a high wire act, knowing that one false step and he's out of a job, because remember, this was rumored months ago, where he thought he was going to get whacked, and he was saying that in the office. I'm going to get whacked soon. And then something happened where his password didn't work, or he'd been locked out of security, and he said, I've been fired. He literally said go read the Atlantic story. He literally said to colleagues, I've been fired. They're like, no, you haven't. No, you haven't. So he knows he's in a high wire act. So what does he do? He not only sues a reputable newspaper news organization for $250 million, but he cooks up this story that he knows is going to please the boss. I found the evidence. I can justify you, Donald Trump. I can end the rumors, Trump. I can vindicate you, Mr. President. I'm going to send them to jail. I've got the culprits. Joe Biden was an illegitimate president, and I'm going to prove it. Well, then prove it. Then prove it, Kash. Make me look stupid in front of my 12 listeners. Go ahead. Let's see the arrest come down the road this week. Because you are Pam Bondi. And this was, the Epstein file is on my desk. Prove me wrong, Kash. Final hour of the broadcast. I'd stick around if I you.
Kern Radio, AM 1230, KERN, 96.1 FM, K2 Bakersfield, an American General Media station.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. A mass shooting in a North Carolina park leaves at least 2 people dead.
Police in North Carolina say 2 young people agreed to meet for a fight Monday morning at Lineback Park in Winston-Salem. It escalated into a shooting with multiple gunshot victims. 2 are dead. Police say they have identified numerous people involved, but are still determining whether they are suspects, victims, or witnesses. Lineback Park is near Jefferson Middle School, but the Bureau says it was not involved in the shooting, but was on lockdown until the scene was secure and parents could come and pick up their kids. I'm Julie Walker.
President Trump offered mixed messages on Monday about the path ahead for the U.S. war against Iran, declaring that he was in no rush to end the conflict while also expressing confidence that further negotiations with Tehran will soon take place in Pakistan. A wildfire in Florida has disrupted Amtrak train service in the Sunshine State.
The Florida Forest Service says a 2,700-acre fire is burning along the eastern border of Putnam and Clay counties, south of Jacksonville. Amtrak canceled its auto train service on Monday between Sanford, Florida, and Lorton, Virginia, outside of Washington, D.C. The Silver Meteor route, which runs between Miami and New York, started and ended in Jacksonville on Monday, and the Floridian route, which runs from Miami to Chicago, started and ended in Savannah, Georgia. Both routes have had a trip canceled for Tuesday. I'm Mike Hempen.
On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average down by 4 points today. The Nasdaq Composite Index dropped 84. The S&P 500 lower by 18. Oil around $89 a barrel. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Right now, our Jewish friends feel forgotten. There's a Jewish woman named Esther I'd like to tell you about. In Israel, Esther is living through days and nights of fear, sirens sounding, rockets falling, long stretches spent in a bomb shelter. At 84, Esther is elderly and alone. No help, no food deliveries, no medical care, in a war zone. But because of friends like you, Esther is not alone. Through the fellowship, you're there, bringing food, meeting urgent needs, and reminding Jewish people like Esther, you are not forgotten. Esther asked that you hear these words. To those who give, you are doing a very great mitzvah, a good deed. You give from your hearts. May God protect you. Your prayers for God's protection and for the peace of Jerusalem give Jewish people like Esther hope. Stand with Israel in prayer by visiting supportifcj.org. That's supportifcj.org.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update.
How the man was able to steal the cop car. I'm Chris Davis. The man who was accused of stealing a Ridgecrest police car Sunday morning and leading Kern County deputies on a chase that ended with a crash north of Rosamond has been ID'd as 41-year-old Julian Harper. KGET reports Harper was under arrest on charges of violating a restraining order, drug possession, and resisting arrest when he attacked another prisoner in the police car beside him. And when the officer pulled over to try and stop it, Harper headbutted him and stole the car, according to a report from Ridgecrest PD. He now faces many more charges. If you lost power in the middle of the night and you live near the area of Brundage Lane and Mount Vernon Avenue, that likely has to do with the power pole that was snapped when someone hit it about 2:45 this morning. That's according to PG&E. They say just under 3,000 customers lost power when that happened. A stabbing in Delano over the weekend. In fact, it was a double stabbing. That happened Saturday evening about 5 at the Fast Strip on Garcias Highway, says Delano PD. When they got the call and made it to the scene, they found one person who had been stabbed. A second person showed up at a hospital not long after that. Police have not discussed a motive and have not announced any arrests, but they are asking for tips. What is happening with Iran or the Strait of Hormuz notwithstanding, gas prices have come down just a bit in the past couple of days. The average for a gallon of regular across the country is now $3.97, reports Gas Buddy, and in California.
Yeah, this says anything unflavored or pure vodka or tequila, 0 sugar or calories.
Really?
Yeah, but if it's like, Smirnoff strawberry, it's got some in it.
Of course.
Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
To the rest of all in a month now, this Hollywood big shot's gonna give you what you want. Too late. They start shooting in a week. I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
The Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Final hour of the broadcast on this Monday, 20th day of April. It is 4:20, which is significant for marijuana usage, cannabis use, weed, chiba, whatever you want to call it. And we had our good friend Dan from Highway 99 Collective in here and provide us some really nice gifts. We appreciate that. They're a solid company. If you're a cannabis user, that ought to be your go-to. I was once I'm not going to name the other group, but I was with another group. They're much more expensive than Highway 99, and their product I don't think is quite as good as Highway 99. So as a longtime cannabis user, I would strongly urge you to go with the folks at Highway 99 Collective. In the meantime, there is an ugly rumor going around. I haven't checked the chat room. I've been busy all day. We had a busy show so far. And somebody in the chat room said that Sandy Koufax died.
Oh?
Can you, that would have been all over our phones, wouldn't it have been? I haven't even really checked even ESPN. That can't be true. I mean, it could be true because he's 90.
I don't see anything here.
Yeah, it would be all over. It would be. I'm pulling up ESPN and there's nothing on it.
ESPN would be the first people. Now I know Raider, interception leader for the Super Bowl.
Lester Hayes?
Is it Hayes? No.
Right. Long-time Raider?
Give me one second. No, Rod Martin. Rod Martin died.
Oh, I got to know Rod Martin.
Yeah, he passed away.
Rod Martin was a huge, when I was at the Sentinel, he was a huge, I don't know if he's from LA. Look up Rod Martin. I don't think he's from LA, but he was so ensconced in LA when the Raiders moved that he was involved in so many different community events. He's not from, where's he from?
It says he was born in Welsh, West Virginia.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly where he grew up.
Where did he go to college?
University in Southern California.
Well, that's right. So, yeah, he was an LA boy. So he's an LA boy. Even if he wasn't raised there, he was there when he was 18 till he was 22 and then came back as a Los Angeles Raider.
And he actually did, apparently he went to LA City College as well.
Okay, so he probably grew up in LA then because he was deeply ensconced. When I was at the Sentinel, which at the time was located on 43rd
and
Central.
Yeah, he grew up in LA. He went to Hamilton High School.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's Hamilton is an interesting school. That's where Al Michaels graduated. It's an interesting school because it's in an interesting location. It's kind of on the border of Beverly Hills, believe it or not, what I'm about to say. And it's kind of on the border of kind of like a sketchy kind of, I don't want to call it a ghetto area, but it's kind of like just a sketchy area just outside of Beverly Hills, kind of like near, not Culver City, but just that I can't remember the name of the community that it's near. But it's just kind of a sketchy area. It really is. I've been to Hamilton a couple of times, but he was ensconced in community events. There was never a community event in the ghetto that Rod Martin didn't participate in, which was really cool. He's really, really good guy. Really, really good guy. Was good friends with my sports editor, Mike Taylor, who loyal listeners will know. I've told the story 1,000 times. Mike was our sports editor. He was an Arizona State kid that played running back for them and then he was a sports editor at the LA Sentinel throughout the 80s. And then when the Raiders came to town, Mike obviously covered him and struck up a relationship with Al Davis somehow, some way. And Al Davis made him slowly but surely head of communications. And it was the running joke when they were in LA, at least, that whenever they would show the obligatory Al Davis shot, bespeckled African-American Mike Taylor was sitting right next to him every single game. I don't know how or why. It's kind of like me. I don't know how some people love me and have treated me so incredibly kindly, like the guys from Highway 99. I didn't know these guys before they started hooking us up and just talking with us and saying they listen to the show, etc. I've told you about the Leary family, the Zucchini family, the Valpredo family, the Arier family. Just these people that have embraced me. And it was the same thing in this case. And I don't know, that's sad. I loved Rod Martin. He was a good guy. 842-5376, 842-KERN. Kash Patel, like I said, is suing the Atlantic for $250 million over a damaging article that basically said from 24 sources that he is prone of excessive drinking during events. Like they're saying that there are White House events where he'll come and just get trashed. And as I said at the top of the show, Mr. Trump does not drink. And Mr. Trump had a brother who passed away from alcohol-related diseases. And it's already, I was about to say, I think, no, it's been reported that from sources that the boss didn't like that whole hockey thing. I know when I brought it up and criticized it, a lot of y'all pushed back on me. Oh, Ralph, he's just having fun. It's Olympics, it's America, blah, blah, blah. Well, the boss didn't like it. Y'all might have liked it, but the boss didn't like it, according to reports. Again, he's a teetotaler, and you look and you see your FBI director down in beers with some 22-year-old hockey players, and you really think that went over well with him? No, it did not. The phone call went extremely well. I remember the phone call that the president made and talked to these kids. Well, it didn't go extremely well because, well, I'm not going to get into it. But this guy's a POS, y'all. I'm sorry. I know a lot of you like him because he's a Trump guy mostly, because I would be willing to bet you don't know anything about him. You like him because he was appointed by Trump. Because I think if you examine this guy, I don't understand how you could possibly like this guy. He's running around on an FBI plane, going to hockey games, going to concerts. Apparently his girlfriend is a B-list country singer, and he's using the FBI plane to take her to concerts and stuff like that. Just Google the guy and Wikipedia the guy and look at his past. And if you can still say, after you read his Wikipedia history, that he should have definitely been the FBI director, well, then we're just going to have a difference of opinion, I suppose. But this guy does not belong in the FBI, let alone directing it. There was one report, I talked about this when Kathy was here, that one of the members of his detail, his security detail, tried to wake him up, couldn't wake him up. That's how either drunk or hungover he was. That can't happen once with the FBI director. Do you understand that? If you're a low-level person that just shuffles papers and hands things to people and runs errands, that can happen. But Efren Zimbalist Jr. never got drunk. Okay, he's a fictional character, but that's beside the point. But you know what I'm saying. Imagine if Hoover was known to have been a drunk. Now, secretly, he was gay and he liked to wear women's clothing, but that came out later, but that's beside the point. That's why I don't understand how J. Edgar Hoover's name is still on that FBI building. After we found out that he was compromised by his homosexuality, not because he was gay, don't jump to that conclusion. The reason I bring up his homosexuality is because that's why he denied the existence of the mafia. They had the goods on him. And just like he blackmailed every president that served under him, because that's how Hoover kept his job. He had a little dirt on everybody. It began, I think, with because he wasn't gonna expose any dirt on Eisenhower, and he certainly wasn't gonna do anything to Harry Truman, who just got us through the war, and he certainly was never gonna touch Franklin Roosevelt. But it started with Kennedy, because the worst kept secret in the nation and inside of Washington was John Kennedy sleeps with just about anybody he can. And Hoover knew that, and he blackmailed Kennedy because Kennedy wanted to fire him along with getting rid of the CIA, and that's why he was killed. But he was going to fire J. Edgar Hoover, and that's how he kept his job, blackmail. Well, that's how the mafia kept the FBI off their back. And if you don't believe me, go look this stuff up. Don't take my word for it. J. Edgar Hoover once went before a congressional committee and said, the mafia does not exist. That's what he said. Go look it up. But his name is still on that building. Still on that building. If you go there, honor flight veterans are going to see his name as they drive by. We drive by the FBI building on the second day. Today, it's 8:15. They are just wrapping up dinner, honor flight 53, and getting ready for a big day tomorrow. They're probably in the bar having a couple of cocktails so they can go to bed around 9:30, get an early start, because breakfast is served at 6 a.m. tomorrow. And they'll be on the bus by 7 a.m. And they'll be headed to the World War II Memorial and the Mall and Lincoln and King and the Korean Veteran Memorial, obviously the Vietnam Memorial. It is a huge day for these guys tomorrow. And again, I hope you'll be out on Wednesday and help support them and be enthusiastic about their return. They'll be coming back to Meadows at about 6:30. Let's go ahead and take a break, and we will continue with Kash Patel because there is another story, as I mentioned, regarding our FBI director. He's got the goods. He's got the goods. He's going to break the story that the 2020 election was, in fact, stolen, and he's got the proof. He's got the evidence. You will hear from the FBI director. Bottom of the hour, we'll talk a little sports. In looking for Sandy Koufax, I found your secret. Mr. Diaz is going on the IL, which I guess is a good thing, because I was wondering yesterday in our 9-6 loss why he crapped the bed, and at least it's not his talent. He's injured. So I guess you could say it's a good thing. And the fact that Tanner Scott is returned to his once formidable position as a closer, I'm going to give him a shot. He was just settling in as the setup guy. I'm assuming it'll be Scott that takes that spot.
I would assume the same.
Vesia has pitched extremely well, and I think he's motivated by the death of his daughter. Did you see the absolute movie story the other night where he invited, I don't know if you're familiar with the story of Alex Vesia, one of our relievers, at why he wasn't at the World Series, because his wife lost their baby in the 9th month. And so what Vesia did a couple of nights ago when we were in LA, he invited like a slew of doctors, nurses, anybody that had anything to do with getting them through the single most traumatic thing that will ever happen to them in their lives. I mean, it's one thing to bury a child, but it's another thing to lose, birth. That is, I think, even more traumatic than burying a child. And then on that very night, he got the save. It was just great. It was like a movie. It really was. And he was in trouble at one point and pitched his way out of it. And he pointed to all the people that he invited to the game. It was just a great ending. Kristen Watson interviewed him after the game, and he got to allude to all the people and name some of the doctors. It was a great story. Almost as much better, but in a different light, we'll tell you about the Ryan Ward story as well. That's all coming up. Don't go anywhere. CRBS on a Monday on News Talk 96.1 AM 1230 and streaming live at kernradio.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.
Messmaker.
RN.
Tuesday edition, Clay Travis, Buck Sexton show. The deadline on whether or not there will be a resolution in Iran. Plus, we will be joined by Molly Hemingway to talk about her new book.
I think it was earlier when we had Danny in here.
Oh, you played one?
Yeah, I played it.
And what about Venice?
Adaptive is coming up, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Let me double check that.
Or Tuesday edition, you won't want to miss it. Clay and Buck.
Live at 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
Every Thursday, Daniel Petrie highlights the broadcast. Comes on at 4:30, and we talk about, well, to be honest with you, we talk a lot of nonsense for about the first 5 or 10 minutes, just what's going on with Daniel. But then we get serious and we talk about money. Daniel comes in here with his economic knowledge and explains why the deficit is what it is, what it goes up each and every freaking week at $29 billion a week. and how we're slowly but surely approaching $40 trillion in debt. He updates us on silver and gold, but you know what Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors are all about. They're all about retirement. And if you're over 50, you need to start thinking about it. Call Daniel at 395-9400. That's 395-9400. And his office is located right on the corner of 21st and Oak. Daniel Petrie and the folks at Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors.
This broadcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice or a solicitation for advisory services by Daniel Petrie or MPWA Incorporated, DBA, Messmaker, and Petrie Wealth Advisors. The program host is a client and receives compensation and other financial benefits in connection with this advertisement, creating a conflict of interest. Experiences discussed may not be representative of other clients.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Get ready for the 11th annual Mac and Cheese Fest, happening Saturday, May 9th at the Kern County Fairgrounds from 2 to 6 p.m. This year's event is going to be bigger and better than ever. Enjoy endless servings of mac and cheese, along with refreshing beers, spiked seltzers, cocktails, and live music. Tickets are on sale now. For more information and to grab your tickets, visit BakersfieldMacandCheeseFest.com. Happening Saturday, May 9th at the Kern County Fairgrounds from 2 to 6 p.m.
This event benefits the Bakersfield Ronald McDonald House.
Trucordia, a new name, but a trusted partner for Kern County businesses. At Trucordia, we provide business solutions that include comprehensive commercial.
They're going to hit the roof, but I literally can't make it because I have no other ride.
Here's the thing.
My nephew's coming midnight
No,
Friday
hear me
night.
out. Hear me out. Billy not here no mo.
True that. True that.
So is it even mandatory anymore?
I didn't think about that.
Tunes at 661-401-2280. Trucordia, building trust.
You're listening to the Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox.
No, this is not a part of my rejuvenation of the, not rejuvenation, renovation of the music.
I can't believe Redman.
No, today you can.
Wu-Tang. No.
It's 420, so we're celebrating Cannabis Day, unofficial Cannabis Day. 842-537-6842-KERN. So as I mentioned throughout the broadcast, Cash Patel went on Maria Bartiromo's show, Sunday Morning Futures, and said that arrests in connection with the 2020 election is imminent. They are imminent, excuse me. Anybody believe that? What's crazy is there are some of you talking to your radio right now saying, yeah, Ralph, I believe that. I think that some people are about to go to jail or at least be arrested. Not a freaking chance in the world. You know why? Because the 2020 election was not stolen. And there's no evidence to prove that. Because I'm pretty sure they would have already found it in 6 years. Maybe if it was 2 years away, you only had 24 months to find it, maybe 4 years. But 6 years? And all of a sudden, the most incompetent law enforcement agent on the planet has uncovered what nobody else could cover. Do you know how much smarter Rudy Giuliani is, as crazy as Rudy is, than this idiot? And Rudy couldn't find it. Or he thought he found it, but judges were like, no. No. What's that? No. That? No. You know what I'm saying? As I said earlier, it's been adjudicated and adjudicated and adjudicated and adjudicated and litigated and litigated and litigated and adjudicated and litigated and litigated and litigated, and I only have 36 minutes, so I have to stop. But Kash Patel has found the evidence.
We've got all the information we need. We're working with our prosecutors at the Department of Justice and Attorney General Todd Blanche, and we are going to be making arrests. And it's coming, and I promise you, it's coming soon.
I promise. Let me write that down. Let me write that down, because in 2 weeks, I'm going to repeat that. I promise you it's coming soon. Okay. Well, one of us is going to look mighty stupid, don't you think? Either Ralph Bailey is going to look mighty stupid when people are handcuffed and arrested for the 2020 fraud. Ralph Bailey is going to look mighty dumb. He's going to get a lot of phone calls from some sycophant Trump supporters who are like, we told you, Ralph, Kash Patel's a straight up guy, and you're just a hater and a horrible human being. And look at those people get the perp walk because they're going to jail because there was fraud in 2020, Ralph. We tried to tell you. We've been trying to tell you. Terry Maxwell might even call the I tried to tell you, Ralph, it's fraud, and there it is. I got the evidence, and Kash has got it. People going to jail, and there it is. And you're the dummy, Bailey. You're the dummy. You've been saying, no, 6 years. It can't happen. But here it is. We've got it. Guys are going to jail just like this with heads behind their back and going to jail. No. Okay. We shall see what we shall see. And I'll tell you something. I've never been more confident about something in my life. Because here's the real deal why I'm so damn confident. Even if there was fraud, Kash Patel couldn't find it. Are you kidding me? I mean, just think about the logic in this. For 6 years, they've been searching and taking things to court. Do you really think that all of this evidence just hid from all the experts that on Trump's side to try to justify their belief? But no, they all failed. But somehow, the brilliant, the inquisitive, the competent Kash Patel is the one that's going to unravel this mysterious fraud that went on in 2020. You all don't really believe that. You know you don't. I don't care if you're screaming at the radio. Yes, we do, Ralph. No, you don't. By definition, you're intelligent. You're listening to talk radio, even if it's not me. And what makes you even more intelligent, you're listening to me. So you don't truly believe. You're too smart to really believe that after 6 years, that this is the guy that found the evidence and is going to put the claps on people and have them walk the perp walk and go to jail for fraud. Okay. Well, we'll see. And what timeline is on imminent? Like, when can I raise my hands above my head and pat myself on the back? A week? 2 weeks? A month? 6 months? It's kind of like the day after Pam Bondi said the Epstein files on my desk. How long does it take you to let that go, Pam? Well, come to find out, she never let it go. Just like there will never be an arrest on a made-up fraud. There's absolutely not one scintilla of evidence that that election was stolen. And unfortunately, at the bottom of the hour, I'm going to ask Chris if there are any text messages, and I'm sure you're all going to go ahead and don't be shy. Let them come in and voice their disapproval of my belief. That's fine. But I'm telling you all, you couldn't be more wrong. You're betting on the wrong horse. You really are. But what's good about it is this is like a football game. We're going to find out. At some point, the gun is going to go off and the game is going to be over. And either Kash Patel would have come out, had a press conference and said, Ralph Bailey and Chris Burdick are going to jail. We've arrested them in Bakersfield, California for fraud connected to the 2020 election. Or he's going to hope that it just kind of goes away and that he's able to dodge this Atlantic story about him being a drunkard or at least drinking a lot around work. And he can save his gig. But neither one of those things are going to happen. He's about to get fired. and he's not about to arrest a single soul. Final half hour of the broadcast.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
News. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump is defending his Iran war strategy, attacking critics and skeptics on Monday as traitors all, after a second round of talks with Iran was thrown into doubt by the U.S. Navy's seizure of an Iranian-flagged cargo ship near the Strait of Hormuz. It was the first such interception since the U.S. blockade of Iranian ports began last week, and Iran's military vowed to respond. Labor Secretary Lori Chavez de Remer is out of President Donald Trump's cabinet after multiple allegations of abusing her position, including an affair with a subordinate and drinking on the job. She is the third Trump cabinet member to leave recently. Reports of investigations into her conduct began surfacing in January. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 4 points. More details at slnnews.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN. Headlines from the KERN newsroom.
I'm Chris Davis. Tips are needed by Delano Police if you know anything about the stabbing that happened Saturday evening about 5 at a fast trip on Garches Highway. Police say when they got to the scene, they found one person stabbed and another person showed up at the hospital. Neither wound was fatal. You may have heard about the police chase that happened in Ridgecrest Sunday and ended north of Rosamond that morning when a man who had stolen a police car crashed, according to Kern County deputies. KGET reports the suspect's name is Julian Harper and that he was able to steal the car by headbutting the officer who had pulled over to stop a fight in the back seat between Harper and another prisoner. Gas in California is now $5.79 on average, says Gas Buddy. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Let's be honest, money can feel overwhelming. Markets change, life changes, and most people are left wondering, am I actually on track? That's where MoneyWise comes in. We help people simplify the complex, make smart financial decisions, and move forward with confidence, without the jargon, without the pressure. Retirement planning, big life transitions, or just getting organized and knowing where you stand. And now you can find us in a new home, the historic Woolworths building, right in downtown Bakersfield. MoneyWise, clear advice, local roots. Learn more at MoneyWiseGuys.com.
Securities offered through FPL Financial, member FINRA, SFPC. Investment advisory services offered through FPL Financial and MoneyWise Wealth Management are independently owned and operated.
Tuesday edition, Clay Travis, Buck Sexton Show, the deadline on whether or not there will be a resolution in Iran. Plus, we will be joined by Molly Hemingway, talk about her new book on Justice Alito. Could Alito be retiring? What drama in the background was Molly Hemingway able to discover? All that more Tuesday edition. You won't want to miss it. Clay and Buck.
Live at 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Hey, it's JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, starting at 1 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. It's a horrible story, and I'm sure most of you know a lot about it. If you don't, you'll hear about it tonight. But it's out of Shreveport, Louisiana. And the only reason I bring it up is because it's just another more evidence of our pandemic of mental health. And this is even, and it's almost to a situation that this is the situation, as poorly as I put that there's a Hansel and Gretel trail. He left a trail that I am in trouble. And either his family or his loved ones weren't willing to do something about it. And that's That's the case, I'm willing to say 8 out of 10 times. We saw that with the Tennessee shooter that went back to his biological female, but his high school that was a Catholic school and shot it up. And they left the guy in Uvalde, left trails like Hansel and Gretel. And that's exactly what, and I'm sure I'm pronouncing this wrong, Shana Elkins, 31-year-old Army vet, who in recent months before this horrible incident down in Shreveport was writing to his parents, I'm in a dark place. Some people don't come back from their demons. Now, I don't know about y'all, but if I got a text from one of my sisters, my late sister or my current sister at any point in their lives, and they use the word demons and a dark place, I'm like, Mom, Dad, we got to do something. Teresa ain't right. Tina ain't right. What's the other quote that he said? I have it somewhere here. But there were several Facebook entries, text messages to friends. And then we found out today, because I teased this early in the broadcast, that right before I left the house, there was a breaking event in the story. And that was the investigators learned that today, Elkins was supposed to appear in court as part of their divorce situation with his wife, whom he shot and is in critical condition, shot her in the face, which, believe it or not, you know, you automatically say someone got shot in the face, you think they're dead. If it doesn't get your brain, you can survive shots to the face. In fact, it's one place you really want to get shot. I mean, that's a stupid thing to say, obviously. Who wants to get shot? But if you had to pick up a spot of your body, the face wouldn't be a really bad face if it stays away from your eyes. It might screw up your jaw and whatnot, but it's not going to kill you. You know what I'm saying? But she is in critical condition because she was shot in the head as well. And even shot his own girlfriend, his current girlfriend, who was also in critical condition. And he also happened to shoot 2 5-year-olds, 2 6-year-olds, a 3-year-old, a 7-year-old, a 10-year-old, an 11-year-old. 7 of those people, those children, were his own with the woman that he shot. And one was a cousin. And like I said, and he shot them execution style. So I'm assuming they were probably in their sleep. And it's just these events are avoidable. These events are avoidable. But I think so many families are unwilling to admit that we have a family member who is in crisis. Not in trouble, crisis. When you're writing to your parents, some people don't come back from their demons. How does that not set off bells, whistles, alarms? Honey, we got to do something. He even alluded to suicide. Just pick up the phone and call 988, please. If you have a family member who is even do you know if the police come to your house, let's say Chris and I are married, we're homosexual lovers. Sorry, Chris. And Chris calls the cops because I slapped him. And either one of us makes allusion to suicide, the police step in. You just make an allusion. Well, I was just so depressed, I felt like I was going to kill myself, and I took it out on Chris. Bingo, bongo, bongo. They step in, they get you to a health facility. And yet families aren't willing to do the same thing for their own people. Because if anybody in my family, I don't even get along with my sister, but if she somehow texted me or my mother called me tonight and said, you know, your sister's thinking about suicide, I would pick up the phone immediately. My first phone call wouldn't be to Patrice. It would be to some healthcare facility in Moreno Valley, where she lives. And then my second call would be to Patrice, or maybe to her husband, or maybe to one of my nephews. And so you need to go check in on your mother. But so many families are reluctant to deal with it. I don't know, I guess out of shame. I guess out of some belief that it's genetic and maybe, you know, you brought this on to them. Maybe it questions your own sanity. I don't know. But I think most of us, if we read a family member saying some people don't come back from their demons. And in concert with that, you are alluding to suicide. You don't see the Hansel and what's Hansel? What's the other? Hansel and Gretel. Thank you. 63 is a buck. Hansel and Gretel crumbs all the way back to this man's home. You don't see that. Just the word demons. Nobody talks like that. Nobody who's just depressed and has the typical anxiety and depression that we all go through talks about demons. I don't think so. Maybe, I don't know. I've been depressed. I've been anxious. I had a weekend last week when I was about to go to a physician where I was convinced, I'm dead. I'm going to die. He's going to tell me I've got massive cancer that spread to my liver. And I got 6 months. I mean, you know me, Mr. Overthink. But it's a really just, children, really? Because you're pissed that your wife is leaving you? Why can't we convince people that you can come back? You can come back from your demons. People do it every day. You know, I didn't know the Anthony Kim story, the golfer that everybody was celebrating because he won a golf tournament after struggling with drugs and depression and suicide and blah, 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 suicide illusions. I found out in a story today, and then this is the thing that stuck out to me. Dude was getting high during the Masters. He was so bad off that he'd go to the bathroom. He'd keep a crack pipe in his pocket. He described it. He said, I kept my glove in my left pocket. I kept my crack pipe in my right pocket. And every now and again, I'd run off to one of the porta potties and get high while I was playing. Like, damn. But dude came back. You can come back from your demons. With help from family and professional help, people do return. But they need help. So I'm begging you, if you have a family member that ever makes any allusion, any reference to suicide, don't just think it's a bad day. And particularly if there are several incidents, several allusions to either taking their own life or just being fed up, or there are all kind of key words. And I should have gotten a professional in here because I have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. But I'm using basic common sense, and I'm using the history, recent history, 21st century history to illustrate it, because how many times have we talked about this? That there was a mass shooting, there was a person, and then 2 or 3 days later, after they investigate, there was a series of events that led up to this. Nobody just snaps. Ralph Bailey doesn't come in here happy as a kite that we're in first place. The Dodgers and the Lakers are in the playoffs against Houston and blah, 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 blah. And I'm seeing somebody now, and I got a minor social life going on, and I shot 2 rounds in the 80s. And then the next day, I just shoot myself. It doesn't happen. Your coworkers notice a change in your behavior. Your family and friends notice it. But are we willing to step up and say, hey, dude, you need to do something? And don't get me wrong, that it's an easy thing to do. It's not. You know, if Chris Burdick all of a sudden changed, was coming in here, not showered, I noticed he's wearing the same clothes, he doesn't contribute to the show, he just kind of keeps his head down, and his behavior just takes a radical change, could I really step in? As much as I'm selling this, could I really step in and get into his business? We're not friends. We're colleagues. Chris and I don't go drinking together. We don't go to dinner together. You think a 31-year-old kid wants to hang out with a 63-year-old man? But I care about the guy. But I'm trying to illustrate, I understand it's a difficult call. Because if that were the case, all those symptoms that Chris illustrated, it'd be a tough call for me to say, is it even my place? Is it even my place? Maybe he's getting over a lovesick thing, or maybe he's just, I don't know. But as a family member, there'd be no question I would step in. And I think that's the way you have to approach it. If the behavior changes, there's a reason. And if there are allusions to demons and suicide, and I can't take it anymore, and, you know, everybody says that at some point. Everybody says, I hate people, tired of dealing with the people that I work with, not getting along with my girlfriend. Everybody goes through that. But not to this extent and not for this long. And like I said, nobody can predict what's going to cause somebody to snap and shoot 9, 10 people, killing 7, shooting your ex-wife in the face, and then just saying, hey, why should I stop? Where's the girl I'm seeing now? I'm going to shoot you too. He was in a bad space, man. And I'm not trying, don't even read into that I feel sorry for the guy, because I don't. He's burning in hell as we speak. Thank you, Jesus. Or thank you, Satan. But it's just, doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. Just shouldn't be happening. What do you got on the board?
Let's see.
Let's don't go out on
Ralph,
that
I
now.
disagree with you about the Atlantic being a reputable news outlet. It's a liberal rag that leans heavily towards the progressive left.
You know nothing about journalism. You know absolutely zero about journalism. Because most news organizations are liberal. You can't hold that against them. But to say that it's not reputable, you trust me on this. Trust me when I tell you, as a former journalist, you have no idea what you're talking about. I'm not very bright, and I constantly allude to that because I'm not. If you took the 250 million people in this country and put a scale on IQ, I'd be a B-, maybe a C+. But in terms of journalism, I'm an A+. In terms of politics, I'm an A-. In terms of history, I'm a B+. In terms of presidential history, I'm an A. So trust me when I tell you, as a former journalist who still considers himself a journalist, you have no idea what you're talking about. And even if they were a liberal rag, you think 24 people are lying? Or they just made up these sources? Do you want to hear one of the quotes? I didn't even read it. This is about Patel we're talking about if you're just joining us. Here's one of the quotes. He is known to drink to the point of obvious intoxication in the presence of White House and other administrative staff on multiple occasions. In the past year, members of his security detail had difficulty waking Patel because he was seemingly intoxicated. You think they just made this up? You really believe in your heart that these people just, you know what? Let's make him a drunk. Hey, come over here. This is what we're going to do, guys. We're all going to get together, and we're going to make up stories about Kash Patel and claim that he's an alcoholic when he barely drinks. And he's sober at all our events. But we're going to get together and lie, put our own reputations on the line, go to the Atlantic, which is a horrible, horrible publication. Well, then why would you go to them? If they're a horrible reputation, well, because they are actually a reputable reputation, and the guy that called in the Ralph Bailey show doesn't know what he's talking about. So we'll go to the reputable reputation and give them this information. And you think they're making it up? 24 people. Okay. Well, when he gets fired, we'll see what happens. One more, and I'll talk a little Dodger baseball as we get out of here.
People who paid for the pay that much money, or I think they meant that. People who paid for that pay that much money because you guys are a great radio station. Not really sure about Scott, but you guys are great.
Oh, now stop. Why you want to pick on Cox? He does what he does. He has a different style, but he's popular, I think. No, he's a good dude. Don't be ragging on Scott. Let's go ahead and take our final break of the day. When we come back, we'll tell you about Ryan Ward. It's a great story. Kid in the minors for 7 years. 7 years hitting brown baseballs during games. 7 years getting on the bus. 7 years of playing in dirty uniforms because the washing machine broke down. And let me take that back. I forgot it's a Dodger AAA club, so it's probably first class, but there are just some limitations on what they're going to spend, even the Guggenheims. Living in Oklahoma City. Sorry, Okies out there. Just not a place I'd want to grow up as a kid in the 20s. But it's a phenomenal story. And we'll give you the bad news. We've talked about it. There's some bad news going on. I don't think it stops a three-peat. I think we're destined, even though we play like crap in Colorado, we're back at it. In fact, probably right now against the Rockies to wind up the 4-game trip there. We're trying to save a split. We should have taken 3 or 4 from these guys. They're up 2-1 thus far. Which, again, tonight trying to get the split. And I believe it's Robisky who goes tonight, who went 8 innings the last time he was out. So maybe we've got a new ace starter to join Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Tyler Glasnow. Quick time out. Not a lot of time before we get out of here. I'll tell you that. Some other sports stories when we come back. It's TRBS on a Monday. Don't go anywhere.
Kern Radio.
Adaptive.
You got one?
Yeah.
ERN. First Look with Scott Cox. Morning 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Tuesday edition of the First Look program, we just found out we're going to have water flowing through the Kern River. And Lois Henry from SJV Water will join us, and she'll tell us how long we can expect that to be the case. We have the latest in state-of-the-art news and traffic and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
It's that man again, Ralph Bailey for Adaptive Networks. Business owners, how many times have you called your IT company and felt like just another ticket number? Well, at Adaptive Networks, exceptional customer service isn't just the promise, it's how they do business every single day. And nobody knows that better than the folks here at American General Media, because they are a client of ours and we are a client of theirs. IT is incredibly important for a radio station. We can't depend on somebody saying, well, we'll be out there tomorrow, because all you hear is nothing. So it's do or die for us. That's why we depend on Adaptive Networks. And when you call, you'll actually talk to a real person who knows your name, understands your business, and genuinely cares about solving your problems. No phone trees, no run around, no attitude. That's what Adaptive Networks are all about. Call today at 661-241-0638. That's 241-0638. Join the IT network that American General Media uses every day.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account. When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, thought of everything. Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC. On top of home and auto, Progressive protects your boat, RV, and motorcycle so you can explore the unknown.
Actually, we just take the RV to the same campground every year.
Well, maybe you can catch your own dinner on your boat.
Oh, we can actually get pizza delivered there from this brick oven place we love.
Will you at least try a new topping?
Honestly, probably not. We kind of go to order.
Fine. Just bundle home or auto insurance with your outdoor vehicles with Progressive and stay protected when you go, I guess, where you've gone before. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton live at 9 a.m. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Oh, it's cut up? Yeah, it's clean.
Oh, gotta be a clean version, though. Although 5 ain't enough anymore. You gotta up those numbers now.
Damn right.
10 now.
No kidding. 10. Shoot. But again, shout out to the guys at Highway 99 Collective for hooking us up here. We appreciate it. Give us some love on this 420 Cannabis Day. Meantime, a kid that's probably never smoked cannabis in his life, Ryan Ward, after 7 years in the minor leagues, made it up. Freddie Freeman is with his wife. They're on their 4th child, and so he'll be gone for a little bit. And Mookie's down, so there's some room on the roster to mess around with. And there's another kid, and I didn't write his name down. There's another kid down in Oklahoma City that's tearing it up as well. There's just no spots for him because I was wrong, in my opinion, about Alex Freeland. Although he and Ward, in some respects, may have lost the game for us the other day. Did y'all watch? You watch the game? You see the Colorado game yesterday?
Yes, a little bit.
Did you see the ending?
I got to catch, I think, up to about the 6th inning.
Well, then you missed it because it was like either the 8th or the 9th on a 3-2 pitch. It was a close call. The Dodgers had both their challenges, and those kids at the bottom of the lineup have to understand what their job is. And their job is to get on base. Why? Because guess who's coming up after them? 17. And you got to your approach is I cannot make an out. There are 2 outs. I cannot make an out. We've got to get the greatest baseball player who ever lived up to the plate with these ducks on the pond. And they both had 2 strike counts or 3 ball counts, and the pitcher missed, but they didn't tap their heads. And I'm screaming, and even the commentators were like, oh, they'll appeal. Oh, he didn't appeal it. He's not appealing it. And they looked at it, and it's like an inch and a half off the plate. It would have been a walk. And Ryan Ward did the very same thing. I think they're just new guys that are afraid. If I get it wrong, I'm going to look like an idiot. And I said that at the beginning, that a lot of players are going to be reluctant because they talked about that during spring training. Well, now, hell, the Colorado Rockies, they were using theirs in the 1st inning. They got it right, but that's about as dumb a thing as you can do. Like, no, literally, their first pitcher it was Tucker. It was the second second batter of the game on a 1-0 count with nobody on base, and he appealed it. Now, he was right, but that's as idiotic as it gets because if you're wrong, you've blown one of your challenges in the 1st inning with nobody on. And I don't know whether it was Freeland or Ward, but when they didn't appeal and they got called out, the bases were loaded. We would have scored a run had he appealed it, and he didn't. But the Ward story is a great story. It was fun. His family was in the stands, and his first at bat, the kid got a base hit. What's this thing about? Watch tonight and pay attention to this problem I have with the Dodger organization. The kid was wearing red sleeves. He was the only one on the team that wore red sleeves, and he wore red batting gloves. And I'm like, wait a minute. And this might be on the Dodger organization because they've changed our away jerseys. And every now and again, we wear this dark blue, which is not Dodger tradition. I love that color. It's my favorite color, but it's not Dodger tradition. And the numerals, if you pay attention, the numerals are red. There's no red in a Dodger uniform. What the hell's wrong with Mark Walters? What's wrong with the Guggenheims? Don't mess with what works. The Dodger colors are blue and white, period. And it says, you imagine the Raiders just added another color outside of silver and black?
Wait. Which number are you referring to? Because the front number has been red.
Has always been red?
Yeah,
even on
a Dodger uniform? Absolutely.
On the home jerseys?
On the front ones? Or the ones that just say Dodgers on the front?
Yes.
And the grays? Yeah, they're red.
Since when?
Number's been red for a while.
Well, I don't like it. And I don't like us wearing red sleeves. He was the only kid to wear red sleeves.
Weird. I think that's probably because he got called up last second. And I do know the Comets do lean into the red a little bit more than you guys do.
I was thinking that, but you're going to tell me we don't have blue sleeves for the trip?
True, absolutely. Or at least blue batting gloves.
Yes. Ohtani wears white. I didn't know the uniforms were always red. Really?
Yeah, the blues,
numbers?
The blue jerseys and the gray jerseys for sure. Actually, no, now I'm thinking about it, I think the white ones might be too. The numbers
are red?
Yeah.
Crazy. That's going to do it for us. I want to thank Kathy Abernathy, Dr. Jeet Singh. In the meantime, for Chris Burdick, I'm Ralph Bailey. That's what's really going on. Back to you tomorrow!
Kern Radio, AM 1230, KERN, 96.1 FM, K241CI Bakersfield, an American General Media station.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump's labor secretary is leaving the cabinet amid multiple allegations of misconduct. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
The White House announced the departure of Labor Secretary Lori Chavez DeRemer, the third Trump cabinet member to be removed in the last few weeks. She has been under investigation for a series of allegations, including having an affair with a subordinate and drinking alcohol on the job. At least 4 other Labor Department officials have already been forced from their jobs during the internal investigation. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin rocket company encounters a failed launch with the New Glenn rocket.
Rocket blasted off from Florida Sunday. Blue Origin says a bad engine left a satellite in the wrong orbit, dooming it. The recycled first stage booster performed well, landing on an ocean barge several minutes into the flight. But the upper stage was unable to put the satellites into a high enough orbit. New Glenn launches are on hold until Blue Origin and the Federal Aviation Administration complete their investigation. NASA is counting on New Glenn to launch lunar landers for the Artemis moon program. I'm Ed Donahue.
President Trump is defending his Iran war strategy, attacking